Trying to get everything. Oh, what'd I do? Did I fuck something up?
No, there it goes.
You're kind of
Can you hear
blurry.
it?
I mean, I can see y'all. I can see Frank. You're kind of blurry.
Let me fix that shit. Yeah, that blur background isn't gonna work. We're too far away.
Yeah, we wanted to try the blur background, but since there's two of us, it's not gonna work.
That fucking fancy effect there.
I got a board where my 3-year-old just wrote all over it. So I mean,
right on, man.
A 3-year-old?
Is that your only kid?
No, I got two. I got a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old, both boys.
Ah, my boy will be 7 next month.
Oh yeah, they're wonderful little nightmares.
Exactly. Well said. Well said. Hey man, so let's kick this off. You want to do the intro? You want me to do the intro?
Hello everyone, welcome to the Completely Inappropriate podcast. I am Frank along with
Tony, and we have our special guest here. You want to introduce yourself, buddy?
Hey, I'm Chance.
Mr. Chance Nix.
Yeah, Chance Nix. Give me my full name.
Yeah, do I get the book out? Hold on, I meant there.
There it is.
There it is. Nice little cameo for the book there in the corner. That is a fun fucking read, man. That is a real fun read. I appreciate you putting the work into that. I got questions on questions about the book, but before we get into that, well, first let's tell the people where they can find us. They can find us at CI Podcast on Instagram, at completely in app with 1P on Twitter. You can find us at completelyinappropriatepodcast@gmail.com with any comments, questions, and concerns, and leave a 5-star review because other stars don't work. Trust us, we don't lie, we love you, we wouldn't do that to you. Just fucking give us 5 stars.
You can also find us on the YouTubes under Completely Inappropriate Podcast, which Mr. Nix over here just recently subscribed.
Hi there. Thank you, buddy. We need all the help we can get. Yeah, so how'd you find, so your wife is the one that contacted us initially, letting us know that you were interested in, or that she was interested in having you come on the pod.
Yeah, you came highly recommended.
Oh, yeah. My wife's great. She does that. But yeah, she found y'all first, and then, I fell in love with the podcast. It's great.
Did you? Hey, we appreciate that, man. That's really nice to hear. We have no idea how the hell we're doing. We just decided, regardless of how this shit comes out, we're just gonna keep doing it.
Or just winging it.
Somebody will like it eventually. If not, my kid can watch it 10 years from now and be like, look at this stupid thing your daddy did.
Yeah, that's how I feel with books.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, the wherewithal, the fortitude to get through writing books, man. I think I've started probably 3 or 4 books myself, from like my teenage years to maybe a couple years ago was the last time I tried to sit down and write something. I never get past like 3 chapters.
Yeah.
You gotta push through. That's the secret, is that first draft. Normally my first draft takes me anywhere from 3 weeks to like 3 months, and you just gotta push through it. Just throw everything in. Don't worry about editing. Just get it all out, and then take a break. Come back 6 months later, 6 weeks later, something, and then look at it again. First you're like, oh, this sucks, and then you just work.
Yeah, that's my problem. Is I get 3 chapters in, then I'll take a break, then I'll go back and reread those 3 chapters and be like, oh shit, I'm wasting my time. Nah, never mind.
Don't reread it. Just go through. Just keep going through.
Just finish.
Kill. The first time I wrote Kill, I mean, it was completely different, and like it had a story like going back with a wife, and then the ending was completely different than what it is. I know you haven't got there yet, so I'm not going to tell you what it is, but the ending was completely
I'm almost at exactly the halfway mark, and I'm almost a little bit happy because I tend to spoil things and overtalk. So I'm happy that I don't have the ending in my head to fucking let shit out right now. Because I'm going to bring up a lot about your book that I'm just curious about, where you developed the characters, what kind of experiences here were yours firsthand, or that you learned, maybe talking to other Marines or whatever. But we'll get to that. Before we get to that, I would like Frank to go ahead and kick this off.
So before I get to my questions, so in the whole writing process, for the second draft, you write the entire thing all over again, or do you like continue on, like add on to the first draft, like fucking, I guess maybe editing, like, okay, this didn't work, then I'll just change this.
Yeah, man, that's editing. That's called a second draft.
Right.
Yeah, my second draft. No, I'll put it a screen by screen or whatever. I'll put the first draft on one screen, and then on my laptop I'll sit there and I'll retype the whole thing while I'm reading it. That's normally for my second draft and adding in stuff because I normally take, I normally take like 6 weeks between the draft. So that way when I come back to it, it's like somebody else wrote it, you know? And so when I sit there and write the second draft, I'm literally typing out word for word, taking out stuff, adding in stuff. And then I normally do probably about 4 drafts before I give it over to my wife and let her read it and check it out. And then she does her little red pen edits. She sends it back to me. I go through there. I put everything I put like 98% of what she puts in. Let's face it, she's smarter than me. And she knows bigger words. But, then I'll go through and I'll red pen it again. Give it back to her. She'll do that. We'll do that a couple times. We'll read it out loud. We'll send it off to an editor. They'll give us our notes back. So, I mean, like Kill Kill, granted, Kill, I started writing it in 2009. And so it was really me learning the craft while, I'm writing this book. And so I've read this book so many times. I hate this book. I'm like,
I don't die. Well, and it is your first book, right? That was your first.
I've written some like novellas and short stories and stuff, but those are really also just kind of learning the craft and just testing the waters with Amazon and everything. But those I really don't count. Those suck.
I feel you. So this next book that you're coming up with, what's the title of that going to be?
It's called The Man at the End of the World. Yeah. My wife did the cover for both of them. She does all the covers for my books. But this one's more of a she
look at it again.
Little skull, a lot of whiskey glasses. Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty cool, man. To be honest with you, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
I didn't notice the skulls to begin with.
I thought it was like a silver eagle golden anchor, but now that I'm seeing it, I'm like, oh no, it's a whiskey glass.
Yeah, this is the first time you've seen the book at all. Yeah, I was supposed to finish reading it last week and give it to him, but life.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, she designed the Grunt Eat logo where it looks like a skull and it says Grunt Inc.
Yeah, that was cool. I was wondering if you got that from the Marines or where you got that from. So that was
she actually came up with it.
That is so sick, dude. That is really sick.
Yeah, I got lucky marrying her.
I if we do it right, we're all lucky with the one we marry, right?
Hey, indeed.
But all right, man, let's kick this off.
First question. I know you mentioned this promoting your book, and I'm pretty sure it's in your YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know, Mr. Chance Thinks has a YouTube channel. Go ahead and check it out.
I actually didn't know that. What's the YouTube channel about?
Chance Thinks.
It's a few videos and stuff. We're actually going to start really getting into it. Once again, our YouTube channel was just mainly testing out waters and trying things, and we did like a little audio read, making up some stuff with some Photoshop and Adobe Premiere Pro, and pretty much we're still learning and stuff. And then we have the book trailers are on there. Like there's I think 3 book trailers on there now. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, I've got to check those out. Yeah, we're still trying to figure out our YouTube situation. Yeah. We're more focused on getting the audio quality up first, and then we'll do the rest. Well, it's all a process, just like you're right. And just got to kind of push through this first year of podcasting and stuff.
Yeah. Throw out some trailers, man. It works, little short trailers. My wife did one. My favorite one that she did, the first one she did, it like shows us in Fallujah, and it's all real footage.
You're kidding.
Yeah, no, it's real footage. A lot of it comes from my second tour though, when we're driving through Fallujah, but there is us in Fallujah too. And then like you hear my buddy on the saw, and he's get some, and he's firing off, so it's a lot of fun. But the second one she did, and she did all these on her own. Like I didn't even have any input in it. The second one she did is a bunch of chicks in bathing suits just walking down the beach. And it's like, now I got your attention. Check out this book. And I was like, damn, that's pretty cool.
Good thinking. She's not just there for the art. She's also marketing.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, she's smart, man. She does a lot of that stuff.
That's fantastic. What a resource to have in your house, man. What a great opportunity that is.
Yeah, so then my first question.
I'm into
it. No, it's okay. The flow of the conversation, right? So what unit were you in?
Well, when in Fallujah, I was with 3-1. We were attached to 3-1. Then I've been with 214 out of Grand Prairie, Texas. I've been with 314 out of Richmond, Virginia. I was attached to 1-7 for a little bit during training stuff, but and I've been all over. But during Fallujah, and really, they inspired this book. It's 3rd Battalion, 1st Marines, India Company mainly. Shout out the India Corps, balls of the Marine Corps. And speaking of, I'll take a shot on that one. Shooting a boot.
Oh yeah.
Oh, my whiskey's in the other room. I'm gonna save that for after, because then I'm just useless.
Yeah.
I've tried that before. It doesn't work out.
But my ex-girlfriend's brother, he was in. I was confused too. I gotta get to fucking asking him, but just like me, he doesn't really.
He was in
either 3-1 or fucking 1-3, 1 and 2. So you were in Horno, I want to say, back in Game of
So yeah, 3-1's out of Horno, and like I said, we attached them. I was actually 0844. I was a fire control operator originally. I did that in school. Got out of my MS school, and they were like, "You're from Texas. You're gonna drive trucks in Iraq." So here we go. I was like, "All right, the Marine Corps, right? Like you just do what they tell you to." And then we got with Horno, or we got with 3-1. My unit did when I was with 214. We got to 3-1. They were actually already in Iraq when we met up with them. So, but yeah, so I was all over the place. I got to go to Horno for a little while, and it was a terrible place. There's nothing there.
Nothing there at all?
No, there's not a Subway. There used to be a McDonald's. The building's still there, but like there's not even a McDonald's. There's a chow hall, and that's about it. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, because when I came back from Iraq, my unit 2-4, actually just the company, Fox Company, we had to stay in the barracks over in fucking Horno, and I fucking loved the barracks.
Oh, the barracks were nice.
Yeah.
What makes them nice?
I don't know. They were just designed.
What differentiates a good from a bad one?
Like
a toilet?
Like they're all designed,
yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, they're all designed in as college dorm rooms.
Oh, okay.
Right. But then this was like the rooms were a little bit bigger, and it was just I don't know. It was more like staying at a hotel than a fucking
right on.
dorm room.
Yeah.
And so you stayed there?
Yeah, I stayed in there too.
Right on, man.
Yeah, and then
and they were better than Kwanzaa huts.
Oh yeah, Kwanzaa huts, the fucking long ass fucking sideways fucking
looking things. Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's a half a dome where you walk in and then there's all these bunk beds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Those suck. I only stayed on one of those one time.
Like a log cabin for you guys?
Yeah.
But it's metal in it. Sucks.
Everybody's in the same room, just sweat and rank everywhere. Like
go ahead.
Oh, Skylar, when Skylar mentions being in the room with the guys, man, it just fucking stinks in there.
Oh yeah.
We're nasty guys, man. What can we do?
Oh,
Shit,
yeah.
My wife gets mad at the smell in our bedroom, and it's just me in there.
We stayed in Kwanzaa huts out in 29 Palms a lot. Out at, was it Camp Wilson out there in 29 Palms, which is in the middle of nowhere. I don't know if you've ever been.
Desert base.
Yeah.
It's big in the middle of the desert.
Literally has 29 palm trees.
Yeah.
They get lost?
Yeah.
Because there's no point of reference as to where they're at?
Yeah, it's just fucking...
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's way out there. We stayed in the Kwanzaa huts out there, and on both of my tours, right, because it's the best place to train to go to Iraq. And my first tour, I left a bottle of whiskey in one of them. Like, I stashed it away, and I was like, awesome, because there's nothing out there. And my second tour, we come back, and I found the bottle of whiskey. I was like, thank God.
What was the time?
About a year and a half, yeah. But
like a year and a half later?
Yeah, but the Kwanzaa huts out in Camp Horno, the floor is sand, and you have cots, old military cots that you have to put together and lay out. Like, there's no bunk beds, there's no real flooring, there's nothing. I mean, it sucks. And so, I found a place, buried some whiskey, and then came back, and about a year and a half later, and found it. I was like, holy shit.
That is so awesome. Those little tidbits of information, the things that you guys do over there that are in the book and that I hear from you veterans that come on the podcast, it's so, y'all make it sound like such like a beautiful experience whenever you're not being shot at anyway. But even you guys find such beauty in these dark ass moments. it's really remarkable how you guys were able to pull your head out of the darkness like that.
Yeah, there was a moment when we were in Fallujah. I was with a India company. We were stationed, or we took over this housing area at the bottom part of Fallujah in Queens, as we called it. And I remember I was on post one morning, kind of roaming the compound, and I come up on this hill, and the sun's coming up like by the Euphrates River. And I just remember, wow, like this is the most beautiful sunrise I've ever seen in my entire life, you know. And so like things like that you try to hold on to, and it was fun, you know. To me, like I say, it's we were like frat boys in combat, frat boys with machine guns, you know. So you could either have a terrible time and, oh, I wish I was home every day. And like, I know some guys that would like try to go to the phone center every day to call somebody and stuff. And I'm like, man, like, I think I called my mom like 6 times in 2 tours. And
wow.
Yeah, because I was just like, screw that. I don't want to know what's going on at home. Like, everybody's partying, everybody's having fun. Like, I don't care.
The letters from home that your characters are receiving all the time, you get the different responses, the different mindsets of each of them. One of them gets a letter every week from her guy or something, and the other guy gets a letter every other week, and they almost none of them seem like they want to respond in the book anyway, because like you said, it's just hard to have that connection back home when you're going through so much shit.
Yeah.
Where were you stationed at in Iraq?
I was over in Camp Ramadi. For about 2 months, I think, and then they took us out of the wire where we had to live amongst the fucking villagers, and that was the time when we got extended the first time. We got extended there twice.
Oh shit.
yeah.
Sorry, that sucks.
It does. And see, it's shit like that where it's like you laugh because you know,
because he understands.
Just how miserable it's gonna be.
Unfortunately, I hear things like that, and I'm like, well, what's the difference
between
a 2-week stay or a 6-week stay if you're doing the same shit?
Yeah.
So how long were you extended for?
Each extension was about a month.
Oh wow! So it's not just like a week-long extension; it's a full month added onto your time there.
Yeah, the higher ups were like, the army higher ups were like, you guys are doing such a great job. We're extending you. God damn it!
Fuck my work ethic.
Yeah, I just want to go fucking home already. Like, nope, you're gonna extend it again. Fuck.
That's the nature of the.
Yeah. So then that was my follow-up question. You did 2 tours, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So then, how long was each tour?
7 months.
7 months.
I actually tried to stay my second tour. I wanted to stay, and when I got back, because I volunteered to go with a reserve unit out of Richmond, Virginia. So actually, my best friend got voluntold to go with this reserve unit, and I was like, well, I'm going with you. So I volunteered, and we were like the only 2 guys that had been over. It was our AO. We were like back in the area of Fallujah, and so we want to go. But I was having a good time my second tour. Like I was selling whiskey and stuff, and like I was making some good money over there. That I was like, I really don't want to come home. I had a little workout selling cigarettes in Copenhagen and stuff from stateside, and
you were running the prison.
Oh yeah, pretty much. And it was nice. Yeah, it was nice. And I get back to my unit, and I was like, hey, send me back. Like I'm ready to go right now. Like I checked in, and then first thing I said was, send me back. I'm ready to go back. I have no wife. I got a Dear John letter, both tours. So like I didn't have a girlfriend, and I was like, send me back. I want to make some money. And that's when they found out I was deaf and injured, and they were like, nope, you're getting out of the Marine Corps. So that was the end of my, yeah.
I didn't realize there was a reason for you being out other than just being done.
Yeah, so, no, I got blown up 1 too many times, and I'm deaf in this ear.
When you say 1 too many times, how many times?
Well, what is
14. I got blown up 14. Yeah.
Damn.
That was a question worth asking.
Yeah.
Holy shit. You got blown up 14 times, and all you came away with was a bad ear?
Bad ear. I got shrapnel in me and stuff, and got the good Purple Heart for it, but all that stuff. But yeah, lost almost all the hearing in this ear, and they told me you can't fire rifles if you're deaf, which I'm like, that's fucking stupid. Yeah, I was like, if I was Stevie Wonder, I wouldn't want to be firing rifles, but fuck. I was like, even Mozart played piano fucking deaf. I was like, I'm pretty sure I could shoot a damn rifle, But it's them covering their asses and shit, and
well, if somebody's yelling at you to take cover from that side and you can't hear, maybe it is as well.
Yeah, well, I've been in combat more than those fuckers, so.
Yeah, you probably hear the force of the rifle going off next to you and realize it before anybody hears it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what was fun about my second tour is, like I said, me and my best friend were pretty much the only ones that had been over. And, we had been in Fallujah. So, people were always like, oh, what was this like? They were picking our brains. What do you do here? We drove trucks over there our first tour also. So, that was a big deal. So our second tour, we did convoys all over Iraq. So both of us were put up in, we were separated in platoons, but we were both in the lead vehicle. And that's how we ended up getting blown up a lot is, you find the IEDs, you find the gunfights. But it was a lot of fun when you had like a first sergeant with, a little pizza stain national defense, maybe a good conduct ribbon or something. And then I walk in, I got like a stack of 14 ribbons. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, please don't tell me what to do. You've been nowhere.
Oh yeah, when you have you end up getting another corporal into the unit with Jack and the other guys in this book, and he's expecting all this respect just because he's a corporal, and everyone's like, you're worse than you're the boots to my fucking boots.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You're the boot to my boots. I love it. Loved it. I'm telling you, I went over this book with a fine-tooth comb. That's why I haven't finished it yet, because I was the chapter. I'm writing down like all these good little points that you make. Like I'm astonished with how many times you reference, or how many times the question of God comes in. That's a big subject point in a lot of our conversations on this podcast. So we'll get into that later. I'll let Frank continue to talk.
No, but Jens was going to say something.
Oh, sorry. I spaced out.
I don't remember.
I don't remember. We're just shooting the shit, man.
You're halfway through that book, though. So you're about to get where they really start getting into Fallujah. And to me, that's when the book really just kicks in. Like, normally when I read that book, I get there, and I guess because I have, like, so many warm feelings for it or whatever, but to me, that's where, like, the book turns almost to, like, a Western or an action-adventure type deal. Like, it really starts picking up, and, that's where you have the door clearings, you have the deaths, you have the explosions.
Yeah. I'm at a point right now where I think Ashmore just jumped from one building to the next and just missed, and he gets pulled up by Sutherland. They're like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah. That shit happens though, man. Like,
and that's what I told Frank. Like, at the beginning, I was like, "Okay, I kind of see what this book's about. This is interesting." And then every chapter, it progressively gets more and more action-packed and filled with the little nuances of the characters that I'm almost not expecting any of that at the beginning of the book. It really transforms from the beginning to the middle of the book alone. So I'm ecstatic to see where it leads, man.
It's like 75% true stories, not just my own, friends and stuff too. I didn't use their name because I don't want to pay them. And then obviously some stuff's embellished and you have to do some stuff for a story, to be good.
Make it sound a little better.
Yeah,
of course. But I mean, I've got questions upon questions about that.
Hey, hit it. I'm an open book.
Right.
Yeah, you wrote a few books, but so then at some point in my tour to Ramadi, because you're fighting boredom more than anything, and at one point I was like, maybe after this I should write a book. So then after that, like after I said that, I started narrating everything that was going on to myself until we got hit. But yeah, so then I'm like, so then when did you realize like I should write a book? And did you narrate your entire tour to yourself?
Yeah, was this going through it?
No. Well, the thing is, I've been writing since I was a kid. I first time I ever made money off of writing was in 11th grade, and I sold about 20 short stories to classmates for about $20 each for an assignment. And eventually we got busted, but I got to keep the cash. So yeah. So I've been writing since I was a little kid. Like that's always been my thing is writing stories, making up stories. My grandmother was a great storyteller. I think I just picked it up from her and my dad. And but no, when I was in Fallujah, I was actually writing different stories. I used to be more into horror, and I always like to tell people that there's a picture of me in the train station, which is our stronghold during Fallujah. And it was like our first day there. We just got there. We grabbed a room, threw our stuffs down. I took my helmet off. I set it up on the windowsill, and I start writing in my journal, writing a short story. My buddy, he's like, hey, turn this way. I turned. He took a picture of me, disposable film, because we didn't have digital yet. Yeah. And a rocket hit the wall near us, blows everything into that window, and that damn helmet's hit me right in the head. I started laughing because I was like, the thing that's supposed to protect me from this shit just nearly knocked me out. But it's a good picture of me riding in Iraq and stuff too, though. But yeah.
Right on. Do you have a copy of that? Have you been able to
the picture?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's literally in a photo album. I got it right over there. But I don't know if it'll show up good on camera. But I'll send it to you. I'll take a
cool. Just a little teaser to throw up by the end of the day for everyone. Yeah, man. That's fucking wicked. I can't. Every time. I mean, it's in this book, right? All these moments where, like Jack comes out of the fucking the showering area butt naked with, just watching all this chaos go around.
Yeah, and, that's actually my best friend, Jason Whitmire. He's a Houston firefighter now. He's one of the baddest Marines I ever got the pleasure to know. We've literally pulled knives on each other. You live in a little room, it gets violent sometimes, but he's also a realtor down there in Houston too. Give a shout out to my boy. But that's him. He was stationed in a place called Al Karma, which was, it's in the book, and we took over this little schoolhouse type deal, and I was stationed at Abu Ghraib, the camp, not the prison where they have the famous pictures, but there was a camp right outside of Camp Fallujah.
Oh, okay.
And so I went over there one day, and they used to get mortared like every day, and so these mortars come in. Like, I go running for it, dive down. I end up tackling, like, this female reporter, but he comes walking out of the shower trailers just butt-ass naked, smoking a cigarette.
Oh, shit. See, it sounds so out of this world. Like, there's no way somebody would be that brazen to just walk out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he walks out. He looks down at me. He takes a big drag. We used to call it the Ding. All right, it's Delta Iraqi National Guard Forward Observing Base, which is called the Ding. But he literally just hands the cigarette to me, and he's like, "Welcome to the Ding, bro," and turns and walks off to go get dressed. Like no mortars just fell. Like, it was so crazy. The dude's John Wayne, man. He's a trip. Courage under fire, man.
Incredible. I mean, out of all the parts of this book that I would have asked, like, so is this based on anything real, or is this based on a story you heard? That would not have been the one that I picked to ask whether or not that actually happened to somebody. Just that's incredible, man. Like, when that scene came out, in my head, I'm picturing like an Arnold Schwarzenegger dude. That's how I picture Jack, right? Because he's, Jack the fucking Reaper. What else would he look like? But this, that's exactly what you said. Like, he just walks out, full posture, just take a drag, not giving a fuck about the thing that he's dealt with already for so many times before. That's incredible, man. I can't believe the kind of shit.
It's funny. My second tour, kind of a similar thing happened. Not really with shower trailers, but the compound that we had on Camp Fallujah, it was like the south end of the base. We were like isolated, we were the Marines. They didn't want anything to do with us. They pushed us to the far side of the base in the corner. And me and this guy, Whitmire, we're sitting there smoking, and a rocket comes in and lands like in our motor T area, blows up. It's behind this wall. Shit goes everywhere. Well, these guys had never been before, and this was their first, like, real mortar attack. Back before Fallujah, we used to get mortar and rocket, like, every other day, or every day. So all these guys on my second tour just scattered. They're running for hardened structure. They're running inside this big tin building that we had, which was stupid. That's where the COC was, the COC. And this gunny comes out, and he's like, "Get the fuck inside." And we're like, "That's a big tin building. Why the fuck would we go in there? That's all just shrapnel."
Right?
Yeah. And we're just still sitting there on the hood of a Humvee, just smoking, like nothing happened. And like, there's people like peering out from under concrete structures, and they're like, "What the fuck are y'all doing?" We're like, "What the fuck are you doing?" We're like, "The damn thing already blew up." Like,
so it's just the awareness of the moment of what's actually going on, rather than the instinctive reaction that everybody has that hasn't been through it yet.
It's good to know.
Like, it's already blown up. You're good. Like, if you hear the explosion, hey, you're good. You're probably all right,
Yeah, it's good to know that it's not just my higher ups doing the same fucking making the same stupid decisions. Because there was one time we were at Camp Ramadi, we stayed in hooches, which are house-sized tents.
Okay.
Right?
Soaked in kerosene.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, and what happened?
No, hold on. Don't watch past that. Why are they soaked in kerosene? What the fuck are you talking about?
It's to make them waterproof in the fucking
okay. Like they do on ships, they tar, like the tar and whatnot.
Yeah.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah, so then
Like oil.
yeah, it's 2 rows on one side of bunk beds. That's one platoon, and then the other side it's 2 rows of bunk beds. That's the other platoon.
Okay.
And so then we're just fucking going about our day, fucking shooting the shit. Some are napping, some aren't giving a fuck. Well, at that point, nobody gave a fuck anymore. But yeah, we'd hear this fucking whiz over our over the fucking tent, and we're like, what the fuck was that? And we heard the impact, and we're like, whoa, they finally did it. Like, they finally shot a fucking mortar right. That was everyone's reaction. They're like, finally. And yeah, so then everybody goes outside because the staff sergeant was like, hey, everyone fucking outside. And we're like, what the fuck? Because the kind of streets over there, or the way it's made is that you got one hooch, and then you got these stacks of fucking sand, essentially, and sandbags.
Okay.
Right.
Barriers.
So then those barriers would protect you if there was an impact of mortar. So we're outside in a wide open space, and then the staff sergeant comes back outside. He's like, "Okay, everyone get back inside." And we're like, "Finally, somebody makes sense."
Yeah. It gets
weird stories. I've never seen. He never laughs more than when he just finishes talking. Oh, sorry, man. I didn't mean to call you out. It's just too much fun watching you sometimes.
Yeah. It happens.
You're so pretty.
Yeah. I was in. When were you in? Like, when were you in Ramadi?
Into late 2006, early 2007.
Oh shit! So I came back in 06, like October 06. So you got there right when I was leaving, and we go to Ramadi all the time.
Yeah, because it was around. Because I remember Thanksgiving. I spent it there. There's a picture on MySpace out there of me fucking eating a turkey sandwich. But yeah, and it's like my first Thanksgiving in Iraq. And I think that was a few days after we got there. And I know it's got nothing to do with this, but when I first stepped, my first step in Iraqi soil, I actually kissed the ground.
You kissed the ground?
Yeah, I kissed the ground. Yeah, because we got flown in, right, from Kuwait into Ramadi.
Oh, you scared of flying?
No, and then we got driven into Camp Ramadi, into where we were gonna stay, and I was, like always, I was the last ones in. Going into the fucking stupid camp, and it's us. It's like 2 guys, maybe 4, and all these packs, right, sitting on the back of a fucking truck. Like, yeah, we call it a truck, but it's not really a truck. Okay. Anyways, so then, yeah, we get there and they're like, okay, get off, and I'm the first one to get off, right? So then my dumbass, right as I stood up, about to jump off the fucking off the back, I realized my foot is caught in a fucking pack.
Oh shit!
It's his first one off, just gracefully stumbling out of the vehicle.
Yeah, and so then I fall face first onto the fucking ground, right? And somehow my rifle ended up fucking straight up. Oh. Yeah, and they're like, "Hey, watch your step."
So better than the barrel in the dirt, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah,
so is that why you kissed the ground?
Yeah.
It was an involuntary in the ground. Because I think you said this on the pod before that you kissed the ground. I never realized it was an accidental kiss.
Most shit in the Marine Corps is accidental. You just gotta make it look good.
Yeah. So when people ask me about my time in Ramadi, like, fucking, what'd you do, whatever, I tell them, like, well, I fell in every ditch in fucking Ramadi.
You got his football hurt by...
You know what?
Ditches?
And it's a similar story when we were in Fallujah, and I mean, I'm the boot. Like, I got to the unit and then we shipped off. I was the boot, but we were in some trucks. Shit happened. Anyways, we were dismounting, kind of jumping out. So I'm running to jump out. I'm trying to glide, trying to be cool, and and we're gonna, you're gonna go about like 5 meters out and then get down in the prone position. Well, I'm running and I trip over a rebar that's sticking up. But like one foot had already cleared it, so when I tripped, it hit the back of one and the front of the other one, and I fell. But I fell in the perfect prone position, and of course everybody's like, "What was that?" I was like, "I don't know. What was that?" like, I was like, red. I'm like, "What an idiot!"
I saw something. I swear, I thought I saw.
I was like, "I don't know." It made a loud noise. I'm like, "Yeah, if the enemy didn't know we were here, they do now."
Oh shit! That's terrible. Well, you got more questions before I get into the book questions?
Speaking of narrating everything you did, so when I was there was a book being passed around that everybody fucking read. One called "I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell," and after we got out, fucking they made a movie out of it. After we got out of Iraq. And so I was wondering if there was anything similar that got passed around that maybe inspired you to write your own book later on.
No, really. Like I said, I always wrote. But when I got back, there was a lot of people. I had a couple friends that were like, oh, I'm gonna write a book, and then I read a few, biographies or autobiographies. And to me, I'm not a big fan of them. I mean, I love World War II ones and I love all that stuff, but was it Jarhead? A lot of people love the movie and stuff. Me, I actually don't, because that guy fucking whines the whole goddamn time. Pardon my French, Mom, if you watch this, but no, like he whines the whole time, and I'm like, that's not how I remember it. I remember it being, dick and fart jokes the whole time, and then getting shot at, and still doing dick and fart jokes while we're getting shot at, because it's funny to us, because we're, I don't know, disgruntled and degenerates and delusional and all that other crap, but really, what inspired me to write the book is Full Metal Jacket. I read the novel, The Short Timers, which I actually mentioned in the book, and I was like, man, that's how I remember it. Is like I said, just fun. And yeah, there is some sad times. There's depressing times. Your friends die. 3-1, we lost I think 32 guys in 1 month. So shit like that happens, and it sucks. But I don't want to read about that the whole fucking time and be depressed and shit. I have PTSD as it is. I don't need it. I don't need you to help me out with this shit. So I was like, I want to write something where Marines can read it and be like, that's what I fucking like. That's what I remember. I want some badass motherfuckers kicking in doors, whooping ass, fucking up, drinking whiskey, doing stupid shit. Like if you read the book, like I think almost every time you see a Marine, they're like throwing a cigarette in, or they're throwing a dip in, or they're having a drink. Like it's like nonstop, and like that's what I remember is the fun times. Yeah, we had fucking shitty times where we're like, fuck, I want to go home already. But so that's why I wrote the book, because I was like, I want to read something where guys are just a bunch of fuck ups that are in combat and they're badass for it.
It's real. It's real. That's the human condition. We don't just. I mean, unless you suffer from serious depression and you can't dig out of it, but in a healthy mindset anyway, you go through these bad experiences and you alleviate that tension and pain with this humor, these jokes. Either you tell yourself in your own head or you share with your friends. I feel
like it's become a trend in society that you have to be shameful of what you did in the service, and like, and the way I always looked at it is like, this isn't Vietnam. I didn't get drafted. I volunteered. I was a little heavy metal kid with, a razor bald head, and I listened to Pantera and Slayer just way too much, and I joined. I wanted to go, and my recruiter actually, he even said he thought. So to make the story a little bit longer, I was going to join the Navy because my grandfather was Navy, my whole family was Navy. My grandfather, he had brothers that served in World War II in the Navy and whole 9 yards, and so I went to the Navy recruiter's office, and they were out to lunch, and a Marine walks out next door. And he looks over, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure he thinks I'm casing this place, right? Because I look like a hooligan.
Oh, okay.
I come from a bad neighborhood, ran with bad people. I look terrible. And he goes, what the fuck you doing? I was like, I was thinking about joining the Navy. I'm scared shitless. This guy's like staring down at me. So I was thinking about joining the Navy, and he goes, why? I said, well, tradition. He goes, no. He goes, let me ask you something. He goes, you like to drink beer? I'm only 18 at the time, but. Yeah, let's face it. Look at me.
He starts to pitch hard.
Yeah. I was like, of course, look at me. Of course I drink beer. He goes, do you want to get to bang chicks from all over the world?
Oh, come on.
Yeah. He goes, do you want to get to shoot people legally? was like, yes. He goes, join the Marine Corps. I was like, sold. Went to the recruiter's office. He's like, now let me tell you about. I was like, don't worry about it. Let's sign this thing. Get to boot camp. They're like, run a mile and a half. I was like, there's fucking running involved. I was like, fuck. I once stole a wheelchair to fucking not walk around. Okay, like,
yeah. So,
that's similar to my story. Fucking, I was gonna join the Air Force, but the recruiter was never there. Like, he'd be like, yeah, show up at this time, fucking whatever. And every time I show up, the office was fucking closed.
Fucking Chair Force.
Yeah. And the recruiter spotted me, and he's like, hey, you're fucking from that one school. I'm like, well, yeah. He's like, fucking, so you want to join the Marines? And I'm like, nah, I'm here for the Air Force. And then I kept seeing him in fucking high school, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll fucking give in.
It was just a more natural flow of life, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, talking about the Air Force, when I was in Ramadi, actually, I got into it with a captain in the Air Force. We were at the chow hall, and it was me and my buddy was, he had his back to the HESCO barriers, and I was facing him, so I didn't see this guy walking behind me, right? And it's early in the morning, we're smoking, we just ate some breakfast, and this guy's walking to the chow hall, and at this time, this is 2006, at the time, Ramadi was supposed to be heating up like Fallujah was, so like we were about to do like online, walk down, clear out houses. It ended up not doing that, but that's what was gearing up, right? And this guy, he walks behind me, and he goes, oh, I guess we're not going to give proper greetings. I was like, oh, shit, I didn't even see you, you know? So I turned around, I was like, oh, you know, good morning, sir. You know, I noticed the shinies on his fucking collar. I was like, yeah, you know, good morning, sir. He goes, oh, I guess in the Marine Corps, they teach us not to salute officers. And he's getting all like snooty and shit.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. And I was like, well, sir, you know, I'm like, let me throw that cigarette down. I was like, we're about to get into this. I'm a lonely E3, but I'm about to give you a fucking show. And I go, well, sir, actually, in the Marine Corps, we're smart enough to know that if you salute an officer in combat, that officer's probably going to get shot. Because you know why, sir? They're not going to shoot the guy with black collars on. They're going to shoot that shiny guy. You know why? Because you're supposed to be more in charge and more noble and all this other crap. What?
Didn't he watch Forrest Gump?
Yeah. And so I'm like, but it's okay, sir. I said, I don't mind at all. I was like, and if you want, I'll sniper check you. I was like, so good morning, sir. I was like, are you having a good day, sir? How you doing, sir? You know, because they're going to shoot the guy getting the salute, not the guy rendering the salute. He's like, you know, sir. I was like, do you want me to sniper check for you, sir? And you see him start panicking and stuff. And he goes, what's sniper checking? It's like, well, sir, after I render this salute, sir, it's like, I'll take your ass, sir, and throw you to the fucking deck, sir, so the sniper doesn't blow your fucking grape off, sir. I was like, why don't you have a good day, sir? And he's like, carry on. And he turned and walked off. My buddy's like, oh, we're so getting NJP'd for this shit. Yeah, probably.
Just the what do you attribute that to, the arrogance level of these guys? Is it just their rank and not being in the shit?
A lot of times it's worse with lieutenants that are like straight out of college because they're college boys. You know, they came out of college and now they have
a rank,
this power, you know. And it's funny because like a lot of these guys, especially like boot lieutenants, you know, they're like, I'm in charge here. And you're like, you know, absolutely, dick. Like, shut your mouth, be quiet while the private first class is talking because he's been here a while, you know. And it just had, I remember, and this is, obviously, you know, the joke of lieutenants get lost, you know, all the time, you know, I was in Hurricane Katrina, right? And we were down there with the 82nd Airborne. I was driving some trucks for the Army's 82nd Airborne, and they had a boot lieutenant riding with us. Of course, he wanted to ride up front. So it's this corporal. I'm a lance corporal, an E3, and you got this lieutenant. This lieutenant has this map. We come to a T intersection, left and right, only ways you can go. Literally, our objective is this building on the right side. You can see it. You know, it's probably, I don't know, you know, less than a mile down the road. You know, you can see this big building. Yeah. This guy goes, holds up the map, and goes, take a left. I was like, are you serious? And he's like, take a left. And I looked at the corporal. The corporal goes, I was like,
listen.
Like, I was like, you're not going to turn left. And he turns left and starts driving. I was like, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me, man. We get like a mile down the road. I look over, I took the map away. I was like, you sit there and be quiet, sir. So turn around and go back to that building. You know, that lieutenant was just like, but But I was like, yes, I get it. You have a college degree, probably in basket weaving, but it's still a college degree. But be quiet, sir. Now, I'm really tactful about everything. You know, you got to be tactful in the Marine Corps.
Of course.
That's how you get away with shit. You know, you're a dumbass, sir.
Oh shit, man, that's great.
Yeah, well, that's it for me.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I can go on for a while. Do we need to take a break?
No. Well, I don't know our guest.
How you feeling?
I'm good.
Keep going through. I think we haven't even been going an hour yet, so we're all right. Well, shit, man. I don't even know where to start. There's so much stuff we've already touched on.
Well, we can start with your usual question.
Oh yeah.
So, what was your mindset going in? Was it very fucking gung ho, like fuck yeah, kill?
Like you explained to us how you went to the Navy recruiting office. They weren't there. The Marines came. It was an easy sell. You want to kill people, drink, and fuck? Hey, you're sold. You're in. So
greatest advertisement in the world. I went also. I like the Marine Corps. At the time, they had that fucking commercial where the guy's like slaying the dragon and shit, and he's like running across the opposite. I was like, that's fucking awesome. Yeah, that, obviously not. But yeah, I got to boot camp, and I remember I was just like, you know, put away my old life. You know, don't think about that shit. Like, yeah, you can ride home and stuff, but really, I was like, you know, got to be a Marine. It's all. Everybody always laughs and goes, "Oh, the Marine Corps is about muscles, no brains required." But really, the biggest part of the Marine Corps is the mind games, and you got to learn to play those games, you know. And so I try to put my family life and everything out of the picture, and went in the Marine Corps with the attitude of I'm going to be a Marine and I'm going to do everything, you know, said. And I mean, I got in trouble a couple times in boot camp for smarting off and shit. So you learn really quickly to, you know, just shut the fuck up and do what you're told. You know, don't try to play cock of the walk because, you know, you're not happening.
Yeah, it took me 30 years to figure out how to finally shut the fuck up in front of certain people at work. You're like, man, I'm fighting fucking battles that people don't give a shit about to begin with. And you're just running your mouth because you're pissed off, and then nobody fucking gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit about what you have to say. Like
in boot camp,
shit, don't waste your time.
In boot camp, your drill instructors, they just love to just push it to see if you're going to break, because that's what they're trying to do. See if you'll break under pressure, because if you break under pressure, you might break during combat, you know?
Right.
And this one, he's standing like right here, right? And you can't look at him. You know, your eyeballs forward, you know, and you're, yes, sir, we're on line. And he's sitting there, and when they talk, they spit. They like to sprinkle all over you, you know? And I'm just getting irritated. And this guy, you know, he's saying everything under the book, you know, you're a stupid motherfucker. Fuck Texas, you know, da-da-da-da-da. You know, steers and queers come from Texas. You know, you don't have horns and all this shit. And I'm like starting to break. And I'm like, don't break, you know, and you can't smile. You can't do anything. And finally he goes, he says something like, he goes, your mother's a whore. And just to like kind of be like, I'm going to get back at you too. You know, I'm going to show you I don't give a shit. I like turned, I faced him, you know, or I turned my head to him and I was like, you know her, sir? And he was like, And he turns and walks away, right? And I was like, oh shit, like, got one up. All right. Fucking hey, I'm the man. No, midnight. That motherfucker wakes me up. He goes, get in your boots and utes and all your battle gear, right? We're up in the second phase of boot camp. Did you go to San Diego?
Yeah, I was in, MCRD.
Yeah, so we're on the second phase. So we're up there like in Pendleton where you're doing all the fun stuff and hiking and shooting and stuff. And they have a lot of sand pits everywhere. So he wakes me up. I get my full gear, have my e-tool, and he takes me outside and I start digging. He's like, dig. And he stands there and it's like the sun's coming up and I'm in a hole, right? And finally the sun comes up and he just looks down at me and goes, you know what you just fucking dug? And it dawned on me. I was like, my own fucking grave? Or I was like, this recruit's grave? He goes, that's right. He'll smart off again. I'll fucking bury you in it. He goes, now get out, fill it up. Yeah, just to fucking prove a point. I was like, oh, that's when I was like, keep your mouth closed.
Now, did you ever have the opportunity to act that way towards anybody? Did you ever end up flipping, you know, the scenario there?
Not in boot camp. I did in my first tour with a corporal, actually. We had this corporal. I'm not going to mention his name because he's a douche. But everybody I served with knows who he is. He knows who he is. And if he ever watches this, fuck him.
Those are stories. I'm not even going to mention his name, but check this out.
Yeah. He's part of the model for my character, Harvey, also. The guy I heard he became a used car salesman. So I mean that goes figures. But this dude, he was such a douche. He didn't even use his real last name. He made up a last name and then like had it on his camis and everything. And everybody was like, "Oh, this makes sense," because he was like, "Oh, my stepfather, like he really adopted us, but I never used his name, but now I am to show him." No, it was all bullshit lie.
What?
And he was just this terrible person. But almost forgot where I'm going with this. You flipped the script. So he was my fire team leader, and it was me, it was a corpsman, and a private, right? And I'm a lance corporal. But he was such a dick. Like every morning he'd be like, "Get up, come in here at like 0500, like before anybody has to be up for anything. And I want to inspect your rifle to make sure it's good to go." And da-da-da-da. And we're just like, there's no fucking point in this. Like, like you don't have to do this. It's stupid. You're just wanting to be a dick to be a dick. And he just do little stupid things. Well, he fucked up royally, right? Where our gunny was our platoon commander, because a captain ended up getting killed like his first 3 days over there. So our major had to take over for him. And so our gunny kind of became our officer in charge. And he pissed him off, and he was like, "All right, watch this." He's like, "Lance Corporal Nix, how fresh are you in the Marine Corps?" And I'm like, "I'm the fucking boot of the platoon. Like, I'm the newest guy here." He goes, "Cool. You're the fire team leader over your same fire team. So now I'm a Lance Corporal. I have like a little over a year in the Marine Corps, and I'm in charge of an E5 corporal, or E5 corpsman, an E4 corporal, and a private." And I was like, "Okay, fucking good to go. Good to go." I made this motherfucker not only come into my room at 4:30 every fucking morning, but he had to not only wake me up, he had to be in full boots and utes. He didn't make me be in boots and utes and shit. He just made me come in there with my rifle, me and the private first class. But I would make this motherfucker come in at 4:30. He had to be fully fucking dressed, combat gear and everything, and show. I was like, "Thank you, Corporal." Now, you still have to use his rank because he earned his rank, but billet outranks rank. I'm actually higher up than he is. And so, yeah, he'd have to come in there and stand at position of attention, hand me his rifle, and I'm like one eye getting out of the bed. I'm not even getting out of the bed. I'm still laying down. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, looks good. Go away." Go back to sleep. Yeah. Oh, he gets so fucking mad. And he pissed me off one time. I was like, "Okay, good to go." Because he was like, "No, I'm not going to listen to you anymore." I was like, "Okay, cool, good to go." I was like, "We're going to go fill sandbags." And by we, I mean you. And so I literally looked like John Goodman on the movie Always. I was like under an umbrella, fucking drinking, fucking water and shit. And my staff sergeant came out there, and we were making that motherfucker fill sandbags. He brought all the sandbags over, and I was like, "Cool, I don't need them anymore. Dump them out." And so he had to take them all back over, dump them in the pile.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Fuck,
Yeah. This guy dropped a hand grenade near me, okay? We were actually in the Fallujah together. Yeah, and nearly fucking killed me and this other corporal. So this guy sucks balls. I hope he sees this. Fuck you. Come to a reunion one day, you prick.
Yeah. Yeah, Harvey. I don't know, whatever the fuck your name is. We're calling Harvey fucking jackass. God damn.
But yeah, so shit like that happened in boot camp. Though it didn't happen, but I earned a lot of street cred in boot camp. So my platoon in boot camp, like, there was 80 of us, and over half were gangbangers. Like, no shit, straight up. Like, hell, half of them was like, "Oh, I'm still gonna be in the gang. I'm just learning how to do tactics when I get back to the streets." Like straight up gangbangers. And so it's funny because I came from a really bad neighborhood in Dallas, and but when it was like the first week, where we call it going up north, and it's where you go up during your second phase of boot camp, and you're doing the rifle quals, and you're marching, doing the crucible and shit. So we're up north, and all the platoons are kind of lined up, and I think we're maybe eating some MREs or some shit. But anyway, shit talking starts happening, right? And this motherfucker takes a piece of trash and throws it and dings like one of my squad leaders or some shit. So I pick up a fucking helmet and threw it, nailed him, and it was like an old like Braveheart or some shit. You just see both platoons just boom clash and start just duking it out.
No shit.
Again, my drill instructor, my J belt, my junior drill instructor, he's the second drill instructor in charge. He was a really cool dude, Desert Storm vet. Like, he had so many fucking issues and stuff. He was awesome. He'd fuck you up and have a beer with you type kind of guy.
Right.
But so when it all kind of settled down, he was like, "Okay, who threw the fucking Kevlar?" Of course, I was like, "Boom, this guy." He goes, "My man." He goes, "That's no time. Fuck them." He's like, "Yeah, I got a pinch of dip afterwards and shit for it." Like, he was like, "Come here." I had to go to the duty hut. I thought I was getting in trouble, right? Like somebody else was like, no, you got to fucking, discipline him. So that night I went to his duty hut and he was like, you want to call home? I said, not really. And he goes, and I'm sitting there and he's just packing this dip and he's eyeballing. At the time I dipped. I'm just eyeballing. He goes, I know what you want. Handed me it. He goes, 5 minutes, trash can's right there. He fucking turned and left. I was like, oh shit. Yeah. So I was in his good graces after that.
So nothing negative came out of that for you?
No, anything. It was all positive afterwards. I was the go-to guy of getting into fights and shit too. Like, I got into it with a squad leader who I fucking hated, and he wasn't even my squad leader, but we got into it, and he fucking spit on me. I'm from Texas. You don't spit on a fucking Texan's boots. And he fucking spit on me, and I decked his ass. And sure enough, we get in this big fight. And I grew up. I love Rocky. Grew up, love boxing. Fucking, so I know how to throw some punches and shit. So we, this one drill instructor, he was right out of the drill instructor school. So he was still trying to learn everything. And of course, I got in trouble with him. But Staff Sergeant Brewer was like, leave him the fuck alone. He's like, come here. So I went over there and he was like, what the fuck was that about? I was like, this recruit's from Texas. That motherfucker spit on this recruit's boots. So this motherfucker knocked him out. And he was like, my man, all right. He's like, okay, all right. It was great, man. Like after that, whenever he'd be like, you know what? He's like, Nix, fuck that guy up. I'm like, Roger that. Here we go.
So it seems like your superiors understood that most of the tussles you got in when you were fucking with these guys, it was mostly due to fucking their idiocy, and you were just responding in kind as any one of them would. Like, it's not like you were just being a jackass picking fights for no fucking reason, just slapping people around just to be.
This guy sucked. This guy, him and his cousin were there together, and they fucking sucked. They were the guys that would like sit up after everybody's trying to go to sleep. People have fire watch. People are trying to go to sleep. And they put themselves in a position. Because our senior drill instructor was a douchebag too. And they ended up getting in a position where they were the squad leaders. And so they made it where they didn't ever have fire watch, right? And so they'd sit up and talk at night and just chit-chat. But it was loud enough to keep everybody up. And everybody's like, shut the fuck up. Yeah. Well, me and the one guy that I'd already punched, right? So now his cousin doesn't like me. And my best friend in the Marine Corps at the time, in boot camp, was a guy named Drinkwater. And they knew we were tight and everything. Well, they jumped his ass in the restrooms, right? The head one day. Fucking, he was mopping. They got into it and they fucking jumped him. So I get pissed. I go over there and I start getting in a fight, and I get caught by that new drill instructor. And so now I'm on fire watch like 2 hours a night, every fucking night, and it's broken up. Like I have the second hour, so I don't sleep the first hour. I'm having to work the second hour. I get 3 and 4, I can go to sleep. Number 5, I'm back up. I get to sleep 6 and 7 and 8. You're normally coming back awake to get ready for the day. So yeah, for the last 3 weeks of boot camp, like that's how I slept every fucking night. So I was like, fuck these motherfuckers, right? I'm gonna catch their asses. But I was like, I'm no longer gonna fucking fight them because that's not getting me anywhere, right? I was like, fucking mental warfare, right? I'm gonna fuck these guys up. So this is gross, but it's awesome. So I took a fucking spray bottle and I pissed in it for like a week, and I would put it up in the heater vent. So the night before we had our final inspection with like the fucking the commander, the colonel or the lieutenant colonel or whoever it was, we had all of our green uniforms, our alphas and shit laid out, right? So that night, my last fucking fire watch, I went over there and I was on both of their shit, right?
Oh man.
So one of them is now one of them's the first squad leader, and one of them's the acting guide, the guy that carries the guide on the flag. Because our guide had gotten injured, so he couldn't actually stand up in front of it and stuff, and or he was doing some shit. I forgot what. But anyway, so these two are next to each other. So here comes I think it was a lieutenant colonel. He comes in, so they do their form, and they stop in front of you. They turn, they look at you. You're supposed to hand over the rifle. They inspect your shit. They inspect your, they start asking questions. What's your first general order? I don't fucking remember. So they do shit like that. Well, they come to the guide, right? And they're like, boom. Or the guy, he's standing there, good morning, sir. And you see him jump back. He goes, what the fuck is that smell? Like he breaks fucking tradition. What the fuck is that smell? He goes, oh my God. He goes, do you fucking shower? And he turns to our senior drill instructor who's standing next to him. He goes, do you allow your recruits to fucking shower? And so now our drill instructor's like, motherfucker. Because now you're fucking with his career.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, fuck no. So he turns and goes to the next guy, who's the fucker's cousin, the one that I fucking punched and shit.
Yeah.
And he turns, gets in front and goes, what the fuck? And he's mad. He's like, senior drill instructor, what the fuck is wrong with your fucking recruits? He goes, what are y'all, related? And they're like, yes, sir. He goes, is this a family fucking problem? He turns, and instead of asking anybody else in our platoon a fucking question, he just goes down the line going, he's fine. He's fine. He's fine. What the fuck is wrong with you two? Yeah. And the whole time, I'm in like the fourth quadrant. I'm just sitting back there, and like my buddy Drinkwater's next to me, and we're both just trying not to fucking smile. We're holding the biggest fucking shit grin. We're just like, oh my God, this worked out perfectly.
Dude.
So we get dismissed, right? We're fucking going back to our squad bays. We're going to clean up. And our senior's like, you two motherfuckers, talking to these two guys, out fucking side. And he made them fucking he IT'd the shit out of them in the fucking dirt in full uniform for like an hour. I mean, they came back. They were muddy, because it was dry outside, but their sweat, they were caked in mud now because of the dirt and everything.
Wash that fucking smell off?
Oh, yeah. It was the greatest thing. It was the greatest thing, though. I was just like,
No, I've got to give you so much more props because you're not the first Marine I've had on here that we've asked, and I've asked Frank. So what's one of the better pranks that you saw? No, nobody's had one. Nobody at all. That is the greatest fucking prank that we've heard so far on this pod. Thank you so much.
That was one of my best ones in boot camp.
And it was pretty ballsy. It'd be fucking boot camp.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was big time. I was like, that could. I even said I'm willing to fucking if it came back that he was like gonna kill the whole fucking platoon, I was gonna confess up to it, right? I was just gonna be like, you know what? I'm not gonna let my whole platoon fucking die a week before graduation for this shit. I was like, but if it's just those two motherfuckers, fuck them. I was like, here we go.
The end results of nobody else getting any shit for it but them, and ended up. Oh my God, that could not have played out any fucking better.
Oh yeah, it was great. Yeah, my buddy Drinkwater knew about it. We were just cracking up, man. We were just like, oh shit. Yeah. So
I've got to ask you. I know nicknames are real popular. Did you have a nickname of your own in there?
Kind of. My second tour, we actually we kind of just made up some nicknames and shit. I got called NASCAR. I don't know why. I'm not even a NASCAR fan, but it's the way I drove and shit. Like I was the best driver. So not to toot my own fucking horn, but I was the best driver.
Hey,
that's why I was the lead scout and kicked some ass. And so my sergeant called me NASCAR. What was it? His name was Hill. His original nickname was Hillbilly. But then this guy was so fucking badass, we just started calling him The Hill because, he earned the title of V in front of his fucking name. Like, you remember those Chuck Norris facts of the day? Chuck Norris, he doesn't do push-ups. He pushes the ground down or shit like that. We started making up some for him. We were like, fucking The Hill's so badass, he gave tobacco cancer. And we were like, one of our favorites was... The Hill's so badass that this little girl was eyeballing his tattoos, so he took her up in the airplane, tattooed shit cock and the double fist on her forehead, threw her out, and landed perfectly in her own backyard, and her parents weren't that pissed about it. Just stupid shit we make up.
That's so crazy.
This guy, you want to talk about a Marine, this fucking guy, he comes back home, and all he does is skydive, right? He's like in Arizona, he's like, fuck it, I'm going to skydive. Like I said, I'm blowing all my money on skydiving. He does it enough, he gets certified. So he's the guy with the camera on his head that jumps out of the plane and videotapes people jumping out for the first time, right? So this motherfucker, he ends up meeting this chick who's from Paris or France somewhere, somewhere in France. And they hook up and they're back and forth and shit. Anyways, I call him up one day. I was like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, I just got married. I was like, what the fuck you mean you just got married? He's like, yeah. He's like, that chick I told you about that came from, France and like she was here for a month and then she went back and she flew me out there and then she came back and we just been skydiving and surfing all over the fucking place. I was like, yeah. He's like, we got married. I was like, all right. I was like, well, when are you coming back through Texas? He goes, never. He goes, so her parents are billionaires in Eurodollars. Oh, I'm going to France, bro. I was like, you motherfucker.
Married the money. Yeah, go skydive the rest of my life, man. Oh, goddamn. So what about your wife? How long have you guys been together? You got a 7-year-old, so...
Yeah, we've been together since we met in 2008 at a midget bar fight. I'm sorry. Height-impaired bar fight. Whatever. I have a midget aunt. It's cool. But no, I had like a little person. So it's not too inappropriate, is it? Just wondering.
Oh, wait, what? How dare you, sir? No, I'm worried about our culture episode when we interviewed Kim Culture because we get into the LGBTQ stuff, and my sister's gay and has I'm a little bit worried about how she's going to take some of the stuff we said on there. But the whole point of these conversations with people, whether you agree with them or not, hear them out. Have proper discourse. It's not just because you disagree doesn't mean you got to say, "Hey, fuck you, man. I don't agree." Like, yeah. I don't care. Like, if we can talk about it and learn a little bit more about each other, that's what this shit's all about.
Yeah. It's always funny because, I mean, I'm from Texas. I'm a white guy. So obviously people think, oh, you're like, let's go slap our wives and, I don't know, do something with our sisters or some stupid shit.
Real redneck here.
And so when people get to know me, they're like, wow, you're from Texas? And I'm like, well, I'm from Dallas. So it's weird. Like, Dallas isn't really, a bunch of shit kickers and stuff. But yeah, when I got to Virginia with that reserve unit out there on my second tour, everybody was like, "Oh, you're from Texas. You'll fit in with the good old boys." And I was like, "Oh, I doubt it." I was like, "Let's see." I grew up with like nothing but Hispanics. Like the place called Pleasant. Place called Pleasant. I can't speak Spanish though, but the place called Pleasant Grove.
I can't speak Spanish. If anybody here should, it's the guy whose grandma is from Spain. Nah, the tongue doesn't work for me, man. I've tried. I get my practice in. If my grandma looks at me like,
everyone always asks me, "How are you from Pleasant Grove?" Which, I mean, we call it Little Mexico or the Grove because there's nothing pleasant about it. I'm like, yeah, I don't speak it. So I get to this unit and they're like, "Oh, you'll fit in with the good old boys." I'm like, I doubt that. And so I go, but I'm trying to meet everybody. The first person I meet, it's kind of like prison. You meet the biggest guy on the block, and you're either going to fight him or you're going to be his best friend.
Right.
And so I found this guy that looks like Michael Clark Duncan from the Green Mile. This big dude. And I was like, Towns? I said, listen here, buddy. You ever need anything, you come to me, okay? I was like, I'm definitely not fighting this motherfucker.
Right.
And that's when they were like, you'll fit in with these good old boys. So I go to meet these guys too. And they're all like, ding, and talking their shit. And one was like, oh, you're from Texas. Y'all got pretty women down there. And I was like, well, yeah. And he goes, oh, yeah. Well, then they make a off-color remark. And I was just like, oh, okay, here we go. And I was like, well, I'm married. Yeah. I was like, well, I'm married. But at the time I wasn't. I didn't know my wife. And they were like, oh, you got a picture? I was like, yeah. And at the time I had just bought a brand new wallet. You know how they put pictures in the wallet and shit?
Yeah.
So I folded it open, and the first one's this black lady, right? And they're just like, oh. Like, I was like, oh, guess I'm not welcome here anymore. I turned and walked off.
It was really that reaction.
Yeah, they were just like, oh. I was like, yeah, not going to fit in good with y'all. I might be from Texas, not going to fit in good with you.
I don't know. I can't understand that, man. I know guys who like women of their own race, but they're not exactly attractive women, and then they see you dating somebody outside of their race, and they're like, oh my God. They have that sort of reaction. They're like, dude, look at the quality of the woman you're dating, period. How can you judge anybody for any sort of preference they got?
Yeah, I never got it. I always believed in, like, I wanted to be like the United Nations. I wanted to experience all the cultures.
Yeah.
Let's face it, I'm not the greatest looking guy. Whatever I can get, let's go for it. But
yeah, I don't know, man. I think that's just the male ego. It doesn't matter how good looking we are. We're gonna go after it if we can.
Oh yeah. But yeah, no, my wife, though, I met her at a bar fight, like straight up.
At a midget club bar fight?
Well, yeah, well, it was a bar. They had, back in the day, they would do boxing matches in these bars. And, not for money or anything. It was pretty cool. Like, you could volunteer. If two drunks started getting into it, they'd be like, put on the gloves, go inside the ring. They had sumo wrestlers. They had, jello wrestling. And they had, like, the little people fighting.
Walking around with pistols.
Yeah. And, we were in this biker bar, and I went with some friends of my sisters, and they were like, when I say nerds, I mean like Revenge of the Nerds. Like they're like, like crazy shit. So I start fucking around, and I'm wearing an OD green like Vietnam jacket. I got a shirt that says "Got Balls" on it. I got some tattered up pants and shit. Like, I'm not there to pick up anybody. I'm there to drink. Right. And so I start fucking with these guys. I'm like, man, you should go talk to that chick. And like, be this big biker chick walks by, and I'm just like, oh yeah. And they're like, nah. Well, then one of them turned the tables on me, and they were like, I dare you go talk to that chick. And it was my wife, and she was standing up on a table to look into the boxing ring. I was like, all right. And they're like, really? I was like, yeah, I'm not in fucking second grade, assholes. I was like, I'm gonna go talk to the chick. I was like, I'm already out of the Marine Corps at this time and stuff, or I'm about to be out of the Marine Corps at this time, so I got a little confidence in me. And so I walked over there and I go, I was like, hey, how's it going? She's like, hey, and she was the best looking chick in the bar, and she goes, she's like, oh, good, and she tilts up her beer bottle, and I can see it's, she just finished it off, and I was like, oh, it looks like you could use another beer. And she goes, yeah. It's like, well, you can buy your own fucking beer. I turned to walk off, and she was like, no.
Was she immediately like put off? Like, was she like, don't fuck with me kind of drinking? Or as you walked up, she was like...
Apparently a lot of guys have been coming up to her and stuff, and she was just like, oh, another one. And I was just like, well, you can buy your own fucking beer. And I turned to walk off, and she's like, no, I'll go to the bar with you. I was like, all right, cool. And then we've literally never spent a full 24 hours away from me. Well, no, we spent 24 hours, but we've never spent a whole day. When I used to work on an ambulance for 24 hours, 24 hours on, 48 hours off, I would still see her that morning and then see her the next morning. So really, I mean, we've never spent a complete day out of the week apart from each other.
Since then?
Since 2008. Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. I'm very similar. I like staying close to home, staying close to my wife. I mean, we got married for a fucking reason, because I wanted to spend my time with her.
Yeah, it's my best friend.
Yeah, people call me, hey, you want to do something? My wife's not available. Well, can't you? Kind of like, yeah, I could. Why the fuck would I want to?
Yeah, that's how I say. We do those Tough Mudder runs and Spartan runs and shit.
Yeah, they got one coming up in South Padre Island. I'm looking at doing in March.
When she was pregnant with our last kid, I had friends who were like, you want to do one this year? And I was like, no. I was like, my running partner can't do it. And they're like, well, maybe it'll just be the boys. I'm like, why would I do that? Why would I have a memory that's something that me and my wife share and love? Why would I have one without her? Now that we're together, like, no, that's fucking stupid, man. Like, no.
Did you have that sort of mindset as far as relationships go before you were in the Marines, or did that come along with like the brotherhood and being, that solid with a group of people made you want to be that solid with an individual?
Yeah, I think so. Like that solidness. I didn't really date a lot when I was younger. Just because I didn't want to deal with like some Dawson Creek bullshit half the time, like.
I know that bullshit. That's why that was my life. If it wasn't about getting somebody to fall in love with me, it was about me fucking chasing the person I was in love with, man. I
was about let's go to parties. I spent a little bit too much time puking off the balconies in high school, if you know what I mean.
See, I didn't start drinking until I was 22, so I was just a guy with the driver's license.
Yeah, he didn't start drinking until he met me.
Oh, there you go. Terrible influence of the Marine Corps.
He was his friend, man. I was dating his friend, and I asked her to marry me, and like we sort of split up within a couple weeks after that, and then we got back together, and a couple weeks after that, she was pregnant with her neighbor's kid. I was like, I might want to try that drink now.
I can tell you how many young Marines I was like, we're going to drink tonight. And they're like, oh, I don't drink. I'm like, oh, yeah, you do. Yeah, you're going to drink. We're going to get...
I don't remember who it was in the book, but yeah, that first, they'd hand the shot to him because somebody had just died that first exchange. And I don't drink, sir. Sutherland, I don't drink like you do today.
Yeah, and you do today, because that's every drink that your friends can't ever have again. And that's real shit. We do that. If you had a baby, me and our buddies, we always had smuggled whiskey. Like, we always had whiskey.
That's one of my questions. We're getting into the second half of this pod now, so I think I can start asking some of the questions.
First let me ask the other half of Tony's regular question. What was your mentality coming out?
Hey, I can ask my own question. I can get there.
Coming out of the Marine Corps. I was actually I was in a big depression. I got hurt, and I was pretty much a lifer. Like, I was like, I think this is what I'm going to do is going back to Iraq and kicking ass. And I actually had a gunnery sergeant that goes, on my second tour, he goes, well, what happens when you get home? I was like, I'll just volunteer to come again. He goes, well, what about eventually in the end? And I was like, well, just steal a line from a movie. There's always somebody that needs killing. Was it Major Payne? There's always somebody that needs killing, And I get home. I got to my unit. And I was like, hey, I want to go back right now. And they were like, no, you're deaf. And they got me on the Marine Corps. Well, I ended up, I was at the place in Fort Worth, and I'm talking to this Navy chick, and they lost my medical file for like 3 different fucking times. So I actually was extended on my contract to get out because I kept losing my medical file. I had to keep repeating everything over again, which sucks. So I'm talking to this lady, and she goes, yeah, you're deaf in one ear, so you're no longer a Marine. And I mean, obviously you have a Marine friend. You don't tell a Marine they're no longer a Marine.
I've learned you're still a Marine. I know.
Still a Marine. Yeah. And I flipped her desk over. Like, I was pissed. I was like, how fucking dare you? Like, I'm a Purple Heart recipient. I'm a combat action, Marine. I got a challenge coin from the Commandant of the Marine Corps when I met him. I got accommodations. I got, certifications. I love this shit. And you're telling me that I'm not. So it threw me in a spiral. And I was in a hard depression. Even when I met my wife, I was in a bad depression. So
that depression had nothing to do with what you experienced. It was no longer being able to experience.
Yeah, no, not at the time. And actually, I didn't have a huge issue with what I experienced because I'm one of those guys that's like, yeah, shit happens, man. Like, I was like 10 years old the first time I ever saw a dead body. Like me and my friend. Yeah, and I'm not talking about just a dead body. I'm talking about in trash bags, plural. Yeah, somebody hacked that dude up. And so, like, it was out behind my house and everything in this field, and so
were you one of the ones that found the body, or I don't understand?
Yeah, we found it. We were in the back, collecting trash and shit to build a treehouse with, it was a big wooded area, and we were always building shit back there, trying not to set shit on fire and stuff like that. And so we found some trash bags, and we're like, oh sweet, and we ripped it open. The smell hit you, and there was hair and stuff, and we were like, whoa.
Holy shit!
Yeah, went home and we told our parents, and they called it like a investigation team or whatever came out there that night and stuff. But yeah, and so like
movie with like Will Wheaton with as
what's that
fucking on the train track?
The Body or Stand By Me.
Stand By Me. Yeah, I've still never seen that fucking movie, but I know all the references. Yeah, I've never seen it.
The book is just as good. The book is by Stephen King, actually.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, that's a Stephen King.
I used to be a big King head when I was a kid. Then I got into Kuntz and.
Oh yeah. That was our big one overseas. Was Kuntz. We all read Odd Thomas when it first.
Odd Thomas series are the best, man. Yeah. When they came out with that movie, that fucking actor got
pissed.
Rushed. Wait, pissed about the movie?
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like it because I was such a big. I read that book in 4 days when I was supposed to be doing post and shit. And
I would have liked it to be a little darker, but
yeah.
In the end, the story really was pretty damn lighthearted. Like the guy, Odd Thomas himself, is a very optimistic.
No, I love the actor, and I did like the movie, but I was pissed that there was like, because I'm a huge reader. Obviously, I love books, and so the little details that people that read the book know about like weren't in the movie. I was like, come on, like
what?
Oh, just everything from Elvis, just from Elvis, which is, I love the whole Elvis scenes. And,
right. Elvis didn't show up at all in the fucking movie.
They have a cardboard cutout of him.
All the ghosts I mean, he's supposed to be seeing several ghosts throughout the whole thing, and all he ever sees is what are they fucking called?
I can't ever pronounce that name, but yeah. But those I actually liked in the movie. I thought looked really good, but it's a good movie. I was like.
I hated the way he looked. They could have made him look like more like an actual person and not a character. You're right. It was a little.
I liked it, but I was pissed that like it didn't hold harder to the book that I wanted. But that's everything.
But Stormy Llewellyn, damn that actress.
Oh yeah, I love me some Stormy.
I fell in love with Stormy all over again because of that movie, and I love the character. The character was great, but
yeah. But going back to your question though,
my
whole PTSD at the time didn't have a lot to do with dark images or my friends dying or shit happening to me even getting hurt. Really wasn't the issue. It was getting out of the Marine Corps, the way I was getting out of the Marine Corps, because I felt like I was getting pushed out and I wasn't exiting on my own accord.
Yeah, it's a pretty traumatic way to be. I mean, it's just like a job. If you decide to quit and give your 2 weeks notice and leave on good standing, that's one thing. But if one day they come to you out of nowhere saying, hey, we no longer need your services, we can't afford to keep you, you're fired, like that's a shock to the system regardless.
Yeah. And the fact that I was like there for an extra 2 years dealing with it fucking sucked. It got to the point where I'd come up to a base and I would sit down and watch Batman. And I wouldn't do working parties. Like I had a gunnery sergeant that told me, he's like, don't even do working parties. Like, don't do anything. He goes, if I see you lift a pencil, I'm gonna stab you in the neck. Because he was an old school grunt, but he was just like, they're fucking you so hardcore. Like, you can't do any of the fun Marine shit. Like, I can't go to the rifle range. I can't drive a Humvee. I can't be around the Humvees when they're turned on. Because they were like, oh, it might affect your hearing. We don't want to pay you any fucking more. Yeah, it was stupid. So it was a nightmare going up there because I was like, holy fuck. And then it got to the point where like I can't even help you out anymore. And so you'd have like people coming up going, "Hey, we need a working party," and I'm like,
well, that's incredible. Just the shift from, it seems like you're able to get away with so much when you're out there. You're smuggling booze. You're fucking.
We got caught. Yeah. I'll tell you about that later.
Yes. One of my questions, as far as our inappropriate questions go, how the fuck do you smuggle shit into the Marines? Let these guys out there know what the fuck they're doing wrong and what they.
All right, youngins, listen up. We'll give some old joint, little old core stuff.
No wine on whiskey smuggling here.
Mouthwash bottles, man. Mouthwash, cheap ass mouthwash looks just like whiskey. And the trick is though, make sure your people wash out the fucking mouthwash. Because my sister didn't. Southern Comfort tasted like fucking Listerine. It was disgusting.
Hey, Southern Comfort tastes like crap, man. That is so.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, when you're over there, man, you'll drink Old Crow for all you give a shit. But
the shitty is not good. Whatever you can find.
So what you do is you take the plastic wrapping and you cut along that dotted line very fine. You pull it off, you dump it all out, you wash it out, you fill it up, you put it back on, you put that plastic wrapping back on, and you take a piece of Scotch tape and you cut it to a thin strip and you put it right back over it, and then you mail it off. So when they check your packages and shit, oh, and you also throw in a bunch of toothbrushes and toothpaste and shit, just kind of hide it. So then you fucking bring out the when they look at it and they look at the mouthwash bottle, they're like, oh, the wrapper's still on. You're good. And they put it back in there, and then you got it. We, at one point, me and a buddy of mine, we got, oh man, it was like 48 different bottles of whiskey. Like we had the big ones, we had the little bitty ones. We had a shit ton that we buried them. Now, we in our little back of our little hooches, we buried them. But then we also buried fake holes, put dirt inside of a hole and covered it up to, just disguise everything, right? We get caught because somebody fucking ratted us, right? The officers and the higher ups come in and they hit every single hole that actually had whiskey in it, but not the fucking fake ones. So we're like, somebody ratted us out. Well, everybody at the time, all the E3s and below, we all lived in a giant room, right? There was like 40 of us in this big room. And we would, we'd share. We're not stingy. We'd share or we'd sell it, just depending. And depending on who you are and if we fucking like you. But so we were like, somebody fucking ratted us out, and everybody's pissed. Not only that, they're playing their little fuck games of, we know whose it is, but everybody's going to be in trouble until whoever it is confesses. And we're like, You don't fucking know shit. Shit. And so we're literally digging like an Olympic-sized swimming pool almost, like a giant hole, and we're filling sandbags for days. And we started being like, fuck it. We'd start putting on music and having mosh pits and shit, and we were just going crazy. We're like, fuck them and fuck all this. And nobody is saying whose it is, right? Because, they already know. But it's me and my boys. And we're like, fuck. So we're like, you know what? I got a better idea. So we kind of knew who fucking ratted us out. So with him within earshot, we started going, well, man, at least they didn't find the shit on the roof, man. Fuck yeah. At least we still got like, oh man, probably 30. What do we got? Like 30 bottles up there? Yeah, I think it's like 30, man, on the roof. Fucking A, man. Like they might have got all of our other shit, but they didn't hit the roof. That fucking day, we're sitting in our barracks, and here they fucking come. And they get on that fucking ladder all the way up to the top. And we kicked that fucking ladder down. They had to go to the other side to get off. Yeah. But these motherfuckers were like pissed because there was nothing up there and shit. We were like, you fucking rat, And after that, it was like, it's like prison. You find out who the rat is, they're fucked, Yeah.
What kind of shit did that guy end up?
Fucked him. Oh, we give him shit. We isolated him. Yeah. It was bad.
That's insane that people would think to do that. Like, fine, you're gonna rat him out. You get whatever, a handshake, a pat on the back from your fucking superior one day. Like, congratulations. You think he's gonna about that the next fucking day? You gotta live with these fuckers the rest of your fucking time here. What the fuck are you thinking?
Oh yeah, I'm a fucking asshole. I'm gonna make your time hell.
So, in your book, what any of these stories that you tell in Kill Battle of Fallujah, are any of them firsthand? Is there any of them that are particularly personal to you that you included in the book?
Oh, I mean, yeah, a lot of them. Actually, there's one that I like to tell. It's I like to call it one of my beautiful stories that I really liked. Is there's a scene, and you've already read it, where they're driving to the train station, and they're watching the explosions happen in the city, and at a moment there's a cloud, like 4 clouds go up, right, and they look like Victorian era women with like purses, like walking across the sky, right? And that's literally that really happened. We're heading to the train station, and it if you weren't in Fallujah, man, it was something that people don't really get to experience. Artillery for like 3 days was just launching, man. They were just putting shells in, pulling the ripcord, and firing. There was no intended target. There was no like, huh?
It's not like they were aiming at anything in particular. They were just
they had the perimeter of the city, and you need to hit somewhere in there. Just free for all. Go for it and just keep firing. And so the city was just blowing up and shit. And in all of this explosion, you know, kind of like it was like Saving Private Ryan, where they're walking across the mountaintops. You see the flashes in the background, looks like lightning and shit. It's kind of the same thing. Like all these explosions are happening. You can kind of see the silhouette of the city. And then I see these 4 clouds, and for some reason I was like, they look like Victorian era women with like the big butts and the really, really small corset waists, and they got their purse, and they're just, you know, skippering across the sky. And for some, I don't know why that stuck in my head, man, but I was just like, that, you know, maybe I was narrating, but you know, like right then I was like, man, that's pretty cool, man. Like that's one of my favorite memories to try to keep is that one.
It's really cool, man. I love how you incorporated your imagery in there is really good. You
Thank you.
Really do a hell of a job, man.
Yeah, there are some incidences, but I can't, because you're not there yet, so I don't want to tell.
I don't mind spoilers, man, as long as they're not.
There's one with the hand grenade where the guy drops the hand grenade. I like rewrote that almost verbatim of how it happened in it, except for this guy run.
That you were talking about when he.
Yeah, the douche.
Okay.
Yeah, Corporal Dickhead. But this guy, let me tell you another story real quick about these guys. This fucking guy, and I actually know these other corporals, and we're kind of friends with them. I'm kind of friends with them, but you know, at the time, fuck them. They started calling themselves the 4 corporals of the apocalypse, right? Like, how big of a douchebags are you? Okay, and they acted like fucking assholes, right? And they would treat you like shit. Well, this fucking corporal, he comes in there one day, and I'm laying out in the rack. You know, like I'm kind of on an R&R, and he tells me to get up, that we're going to go do something. And I was like, nah, it's okay. So I'm not actually with you right now. You know, I'm with India Company. So, you know, I'm just back here at this base, you know, in my rack. And he fucking tells me to get the fuck up and go outside. So I was like, fuck it. So I went outside, lit up a cigarette, and him and his 3 buddies come walking around, right? We're the fucking 4 corporals of the apocalypse. And I was like, oh, I'm about to fucking cut you motherfuckers. You know, like I pull out my knife. I'm like, here we go. Let's do this shit. I'm going to fucking stab. Because this dude, so before I pulled out the knife, though, the one that I had a problem with, he starts getting up in my face. And I was like, you better get out of my fucking face, Corporal. We're about to go at it. And he's like, well, there's 4 of us. I was like, you know what, motherfucker? And I pulled out the knife and I stuck it to his nuts. And I said, your fucking 4 friends and your goddamn rank on your collar ain't going to stop me from making you a eunuch, okay?
That's
like,
right.
Fuck you up. You know, I like to knife fight. I've been in a couple, you know, back in the day. Yeah, I got scars and shit. Yeah.
Out of the service or in service?
Yeah, before the service. Yeah. Yeah. And so, that's rough neighborhood. Huh?
You guys are so hostile.
I know, right? So
I'm
a fucking Taoist now and shit. I'm all about, like, you know, being peaceful and meditating and shit. Back in the day, yeah, I was a little crazier. But stuck that knife up to him. And it was cool because a couple of my friends from India Company, they come walking around the corner and they see 4 guys cornering me, right? And I'm into it, right? I'm like, we're about to throw down. I'm gonna cut you. And I told them, I literally pulled the line out of Tombstone. I said, your friends are gonna get me in a bull rush, but and then I changed it to, you know, I'm gonna make you a fucking eunuch. And but my buddies come around, and one of them had the most kills with a shotgun out of 3-1. Like, this dude was fucking intense. And actually, I'll go back to the book because he's in the book, like an incident that happened in the book. But most kills with a shotgun, not even his M16, just the shotgun, you know. And then the other guy was a saw gunner that was a fucking crazy bastard. And they come around that corner and they see this going on, and you hear them just fucking racking rounds and shit, you know. And we're on a Condition 4 base, so you're not supposed to have rounds in your weapons. They both come around. They're like, excuse us? And they're like, you know, PFC and Lance Corporal, this is none of your fucking business. And they're like, no, that's our boy. This is our business. Like, 4 against 1, fuck y'all. Now we're gonna make it even. And they ended up fucking leaving, and my boys, you know, saved my ass. So, yeah.
It's amazing. A pack of dogs will back down when you know.
Yeah. Yeah, so that motherfucker, the whole hand grenade dropping incident happened. This fucker, he drops the hand grenade, runs out, right? Doesn't say grenade or frag out or anything. We turn, we see the grenade, me and this other corporal, we hit the dirt, it goes off, nearly kills us.
Holy shit.
Yeah, we landed in little drainage ditches, and so it actually shredded my camel pack. And so when I got up, I just felt wet, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm hit, right?" And then I looked, and I'm like, "Oh, it's my fucking camel pack shredded," which I had to pay for later. But fucking yeah, fucking government. But anyways, so this asshole comes walking back in. He's all like, "Ooh, like holy shit, can y'all believe that just happened?" But he looks at us. The only thing he really says is, "Man, y'all don't tell anybody about that." Not, are you okay?
What the fuck?
Sorry. No, just you fucking used car salesman.
What the fuck, man? So you didn't tell anyone, you kept your mouth shut, you didn't...
No, I told the biggest mouth in our platoon. And
he almost fucking blew you up. How do you not?
Yeah. So I was like, I'm gonna tell my boy who got the biggest mouth, but I'm not gonna tell anybody else. You know?
Yeah. Hey, so you said you were blown up, what, 14, 17?
14
how many?
times. Yeah.
14 times. How many times did it take before you stopped, like, fucking, I don't know, man.
Well, the last one's what got me out of the Marine Corps, so I guess I never really learned, but...
Probably true, right? No, but, I mean, what's that experience like the first time as opposed to the 14th time? Is there any difference, or is it just as traumatic every time?
Just traumatic. Yeah, it's traumatic every time. So the first times were like little things, like right near us and shit, and you feel the concussion. And that's mainly everything I ever had was really concussions until that last one, the concussion of the blast.
Right.
At one point, I'm in a house in Fallujah going down a hallway, and there's like a T section in this hallway. Okay. And they hit near me with an RPG. Somebody, and it fucking knocked me down in the hall. But it felt like the hand of God picked you up and threw you, And my buddy, he comes running up to me, and he's shaking me. He's like, "Next!" I was like, "Oh, that's gnarly." I was like, "I should try that." Like, fuck me, man. But yeah, shit like that would happen. The last one was the worst because it was an IED ambush. It was a small arms attack, so we got in a firefight and shit. So yeah, so it was crazy.
It was just a lot, yeah. Because I'm reminded about the character who walks away from one at closer to the beginning of the book, and
yeah, that's a friend of mine actually. That incident happened too. Buddy of mine, yeah, walked away from one, and it's that one, and there's a part you're coming up to, which I don't want to spoil it, but there's a part with a bunch of hand grenades, and that shit happened for real too. That was a buddy of mine. Both of those guys are actually now dead. They died in I think 2007, but
okay.
Yeah, but yeah, that shit like that is the randomest shit. I remember I had a round. I took a knee, and then all of a sudden the wall that I was next to blew up, and then I heard like the whip and shit, and somebody had shot at my face, and the bullet went so close that it singed that fucking hair and shit on my neck and ear, but it hit the wall and fucking blew up. And I remember I was pissed because this time we're already in Fallujah. It's been almost a month, and so you're fucking tired and hungry, and you're just done. Yeah. And I just remember I was thinking, I was like, "You fucking asshole! If you would have been an inch over, I could fucking go home now." And just thinking stupid shit like that. Just.
It's weird the place the mind takes you guys in those situations. You just don't expect half of the things that come out of your fucking brain, and the words in the book just. It's like, how the fuck could that be what you're thinking in that moment? But it makes sense. It's a split-second moment. You're just gonna fucking think whatever's fucking close at hand. So
you do stupid shit. I remember I was running online, shooting, right? We're popping, getting online, and I remember going, yeah, as I pulled the trigger. I don't know why. That's my war cry, apparently. I wasn't war cry. I was like, meh, meh. I laid down, and a buddy of mine was like, he's shooting. He just looks at me and goes, really? That's it? Okay. He's like, fucking dumbass.
I'm so confused on that, too. But yeah, wow.
Just the randomest shit, man. Like I said, and then, there's like I said, probably about 75% of that book's true. And a lot of it's me. Some of it's my friends' stories and shit. Some of it guys that, shit happened, and it's really weird that they survived this, and then they fucking died in a car wreck back home, and shit like that, and it's just fuck, it's why, but a lot of that shit in that book, yeah, a lot of it happened,
Yeah, and that's why I'm happy to have you on and happy to be able to ask you these questions. Because I mean, when you hear when I got the book, I didn't realize it was a fiction, a work of fiction. Of course, you said at the beginning. I'm like, oh, I thought this was gonna be like a verbatim, like what happened to him directly. And of course, as soon as this guy walks out naked from the shower, I'm like, oh, okay, so it is a fiction book. And then now you're telling me that's the part that's real. It's like that's important to fucking know. It's important to know about these books that people read, that, you know, it sounds outlandish. It sounds fucking out of this world, the kind of shit that we read in these books, but people need to know that, no, this shit really happens. Like, it's just as surreal as you think it is. It's just, you know, how the fuck could we know about it if we're not there to experience it firsthand? So if I wasn't talking to you, I could read this book by myself and just think, oh, this is just a good story. But here you are telling us almost every one of these stories is based off something that actually fucking happened.
Yeah, a lot of it. You know, like I said, some things are exaggerated a little bit. Well, of course. But you know, and then there's some things that, like I said, I made it up.
You're telling us stories right now that happened to you personally that you could have been in the book and seemed just as fictitious as some other shit that came up. Like,
oh, there's gonna be a second book about
the hair off your ear and neck doesn't sound real, but it obviously fucking happened, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've had friends that I had a friend that got hit by an RPG in the head, and the side of it hit him. Now, RPG, it has to get a direct hit to blow up.
Yeah,
but he was in a gun, and so he's firing. This is before they had the full turrets half the time. You know, like sometimes we had a full turret, other times you're just standing up there. The RPG hit the side of his head, and it jerked him out of the fucking the vehicle, and he landed hard, right? Knocked him out. Everybody runs over there, and he pops up, and he's just fucking mad. He's like, motherfucker. Like, and he's like, let me get back up there. And we're like, calm the fuck down. Like, you just got thrown out of a fucking vehicle, man. You know? Like, what the fuck? And so, like, shit like that happened. And, like, you know, just stupid shit would happen, too. Like, somebody setting the house on fire that you're still in it, and you have to, like, jump off the fucking roof and shit. And so you're just like, fuck me. You know? And that's the kind of shit, you know, like I said, I wrote the book because I wanted people to read it and not be like, you know, oh, you know, and there, like I said, there is sad moments and shit, but there's a lot of those moments that you're just like, yeah, especially if you're a Marine, you read it and you're like, okay, yeah, I can see the Marines doing that. Like, yeah, the fucking Army would do that. Yeah, you know.
We're coming up on the last quarter of our time here before we got to wrap. So I want to run through some of these. I wrote down some questions that they're not our typical inappropriate questions, but they're questions that may be a little bit harder for some people to want to answer. I'm going to start with probably the darkest question I got to ask first. I read through the torture house that they went through, and I've got to ask, was there any situation you found like that? Did you speak to somebody that went through that?
Yeah, no, we found houses like that all the time. Like there was just terrible houses where you walk in and they literally, there'd be piles of limbs or you know, mutilations, and obviously there's rapes and there's, you know, people burned and stuff, and really it was people.
That particularly sounds so otherworld villainy, you know. It's another level of villainy that I see you writing it, and I don't doubt it, because you're not the first person to come with these stories, but it's so hard for a civilian to wrap their head around the fact that this shit really does fucking occur, and that's what you're fighting over there.
Yeah, and so what it was really a lot of time, because we would give out soccer balls and money and chocolates and stuff to, like, especially kids and shit. So when the insurgents was losing favor with the crowds, right? They started doing this shit. So they're like, no, you are going to support us, or we're going to take your kid and we're going to fucking mutilate them. You know, or we're going to take your wife or your daughter or you or whatever, you know.
So wife and kid, right?
Yeah. We had an interpreter. He didn't even wear a mask. Like, there's videos, like if you look up 3-1 India Company and you watch like their badass motivational video on YouTube, you know, that somebody made back then, there's a picture of this guy. And most Terps wore a full mask, so they didn't see him. He had lost his children, his wife, his parents, his wife's family, his brothers, his sisters, everybody. He was the last person in his bloodline. And his children were little when they were taken. He lost everybody, and he was a gruesome motherfucker. This guy, he would tell us, leave the room so you can swear on whatever Bible you believe in to your courts that you didn't see shit. And you'd walk out and you go back in, and the fucking guy would have like a broken toe or some shit, and be like, "Yeah, there's a fucking house over there." But he confessed, he's over there. But we'd have the population would come to us and be like, there's a house over here. There's a house over here. They're doing bad things. And da da da. That's where the insurgents are. And if we go
a little bit of a spoiler. When that woman runs up to the Marine saying that house over there, before she gets to, they finally translate for her. I'm reading it thinking, holy shit, this chick's about to blow them up. I'm thinking, she's running up to him, crying, about to fucking pull a pin in her fucking or something.
That's the thing. That's what you had to deal with over there, especially when you're walking the street or something. Is you had to think split second, huh?
Like that we hear about all the time. We hear about these suicide bombers running up and doing it, but you don't hear about fucking torture houses. That's insane. I can't believe that doesn't come out. I mean, and I guess it would be a little shock to the system of most civilians over here that would hear that on the news, but that shit's important for people to fucking know about. There's a reason that we're fucking putting our troops in there and forcing our way through these towns, is just so we can prevent things. You guys could prevent those things. The fight against that's insane, man. But thanks for touching on that. But I want to move on to another inappropriate question. I'm gonna flip it to something a lot more lighthearted, or less lighthearted if you're a good old boy. So there's a part where Sutherland and Ashmore, I guess when he pulls him up, and Sutherland rolls off Ashmore and tells him to hey, lose weight, you fat ass. Fucking love that, because it goes back to our point. These insane things go on, and they still find a little bit of humor in it just to keep going. There was a point, I don't know what it was, and I'm sure it was just in my head and my own homoerotic fucking fantasies from fucking my youth. Were there any guys that hooked up? Did you guys? No, that's not a thing.
No, internet guys hooked up. No. You mean with other guys or with chicks?
With other guys. I had that.
No. And where I was at, there was like no females really. But a buddy of mine in another unit that was over there at the same time and shit. He had a little thing going on with a Navy corpsman chick. Like they would hook up in the 7 tons and stuff.
Is that where the Skylar relationship?
Yeah, that's mainly where the Skylar thing comes from. Yeah. And then my second tour, there was a buddy of mine that him and this chick hooked up and stuff. She was a Marine sergeant, and I'm not going to say her name either or his, but
how easy is that to fucking accomplish? I mean, aren't they located in completely different areas on the base?
Nah, a lot of times. I mean, no, it's fairly easy. I mean, this chick on the second tour, I knew this chick that she got pregnant, and so she got sent home. And it was that one was a bad news, because like, they're like, no fornicating with each other, but it's really like, man, just don't get caught. And it's kind of hard not to get caught when she gets knocked up.
But it's a pretty hard piece of evidence.
How do you explain that? Yeah, I got pregnant in Iraq.
Yeah.
Immaculate conception. Well, shit, man. What was the shit. Okay.
Go for it. I'm open book.
What's the worst thing you saw, man? What was your worst overall experience out there?
I think my worst experience, there was 2 times. Okay, you know what? There's 3 times. And I'm going to give you my favorite one first. One of the worst experiences that happened to me that I love to tell people about is we come up to this door in Fallujah, and I kick it, right? And it doesn't budge. They welded a plate on the back end of it. So my knee buckles and shit. I'm like, fuck. So we scurry around to the side of the house, and there's this big opening. Either a tank blew open this hole or artillery did or some shit. So we're sitting there. I'm with 2 corporals, and I'm an E3. I'm a lance corporal. I'm a younger rank. And they go, all right. I was like, all right, who's going in? And they're like, yeah, who's the youngest rank? I was like, man, fuck y'all. So I crawl in. So when you clear out a house, you come into a room, you kind of lead with your rifle, and you start at the far corner, and then you sweep around, and you step in as you're sweeping around, right? So I do that, and it's clear. I slip out, and I step fully into the room. Now, this room is pitch black. There's rays of sunlight coming in. You can see the dust specks inside of the rays, right? But other than that, you can't see hardly shit. And there's a guy standing there with his rifle pointed at me. I'm pointed at him. We're, mano y mano. We're going to fucking rock and roll. I pull my trigger. No hesitation. Hesitation kills. Nah, no hesitation. Boom. Fucking pull my trigger. He pulls his fucking trigger. I see flash. you know. And then the mirror shatters. It was my own fucking reflection.
Son of a bitch.
I come crawling out of that hole, man. They're all like, "What happened?" I was like, "I need new underwear."
I shot myself.
Shot myself, man. So that was intense. And there was other. I mean, obviously there was intense moments, you know, getting shot at and shit. But
it was. Was that such a thing? Was that one of the only times you had the barrel? You know, you were staring down a barrel.
No, there was a couple of times. I became a point man at one point. So like, I had a shotgun. I blew open a door. I'd kick it open and go in. So that happens. But to me, I never cared about my own life. You know, like I'm young and stupid, so I really didn't give a shit. No kids, no wife. I cared about my friends, right? You know, because if they die, that's my fault. Now I got to explain to their parents.
You got to live with that.
Yeah, why they ain't here. And so one night we're driving to the city of Fallujah, and the thing is the engineers had mapped out this little section in the desert. They cleared all the landmines out of this section. So from our base to the city of Fallujah was like 5 miles, but you had to drive through the desert, so it became, you know, like fucking 50 miles or some shit because you're going all serpentine. One night we're doing it. We're night vision goggles. The truck in front of me kicks up all this dirt and makes a turn, and I can't see them no more. And I'm like, oh shit, like I have to stop because I don't know where this turn is. On one side you got cliffs, you know, like big ravines, and on the other side you got landmine fields. I can't see it. And my buddy Jason Whitmire, Houston firefighter, great guy, he kind of realizes this too. The dirt settles, and he's like, fuck. He's like, I'm gonna have to walk you through this. I'm gonna have to ground guide you through this turn because we can't see shit. And I didn't want to. I'm like, fuck no, man. We'll figure something out. He's like, no, like we're gonna fucking either tumble over the side, run over a landmine, or I'm gonna get the fuck out and walk you through. So he lights up a cigarette, and the last thing he says to me, he goes, tell my dad I loved him. And he gets out. And I'm just like, fuck me, man. And he walks, and it was funny because every time he took a step, you saw that cherry glow really bright. And Command jumps on the hooks and he goes, who the fuck is walking out there smoking a cigarette? And I said, shut the fuck up. And I threw the hooks down, and he ground guided me through this turn, and we got back to the convoy and shit, and everything was good to go. Wow. But I tell you what, his butthole was probably that fucking tight, you know? He was scared shitless. But I'm worried that my friend's going to fucking die, you know? Yeah. And then, and then the second tour, when we got blown up and set in an ambush, we saw the IED. I don't want anybody ever mistaken that. My crew saw this IED, but we couldn't see what it was because it was a box about the size of a box that a cell phone comes in. And they called these things stingrays. You could either run over them and they'd blow up, or somebody could set them off. So we see it. We start backing away from it. And it's packed with about 15 pounds of plastic explosives and nails and screws and everything. So we see it. We finally get eyes. We're like, oh, shit. Yeah, because the wind kicked up some dirt, and we saw a copper wire. And so we're like, fuck, it's an IED. And we're about a month away from going home at this point. We fucking throw it in. I fucking throw it in reverse. I start pulling out. My Scout 2 is right up on my ass. But that guy, my buddy Z, great fucking guy, Zaccaro, he knows how to drive. He knows how I drive. He starts backing up. Like, I mean, he's coming straight up, and then he hits it, and we both backing up, and then it goes off. And they said my vehicle like stood straight up and then came back down. Right.
How far are you from it at this point?
About 15 feet. Yeah, so it fucked us up. That's where I got shrapnel, lost the hearing.
So much closer than I expected.
Yeah, my gunner took shrapnel and shit, and then he starts sliding down. When I come to, my VC, he's trying to get to me. I'm knocked out, and he's like, next. And finally gets over to me. I'm like, what? He goes, you know where you're at, bro? I went, heaven? He goes, no. I went, fuck, I'm in Iraq. He's like, yeah. So, but then we hear my gunner start sliding down. And he goes, oh, shit. And he just starts sliding down. So to me, I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, A, we're in the city of Fallujah, and this is 2006. So we're in the fucking worst city in my life, and I'm back in it. And now I'm fucking hurt. Now we're injured. And we actually got hit right by where one of my close buddies got killed back a year and a half prior. And so I fucking hate the area. We're right before the bridge that goes over the Euphrates. And my gunner's going, oh, shit, and sliding down. So I'm just terrified that I just fucking killed this guy. He's engaged to get married, you know. He lived. They have 2 wonderful kids, beautiful wife, great guy. He's a police officer up there in Kentucky. Great guy. But at that moment, I'm like, I just killed one of my best friends. And so to me, that was way worse than anything I ever saw in my life. You know, way worse. me being responsible for one of my friends dying was one of the worst things that could ever happen to me, and I experienced it twice almost happening, you know, and so like all the gunfights, all the explosions, you know, fucking rockets falling by us, breaking in half, not blowing up, fucking people coming at us with fucking machine guns and all this other shit, walking out of an alley and there's a fucking what's it called, a ZU-2 Russian anti-aircraft weapon faced on the ground to hit troops, which is completely against the Geneva Convention. Yeah, and you see that shit and you're like, fuck.
I'm happy you brought that up because I am curious. At one point, at one point Jack throws a phosphorus grenade, and they ask, "Hey, is that even fucking legal?" You're like, "All's fair in love and war, man." How often and how much did you see illegal weaponry being used? I don't know how that's.
I don't know how much I can talk about that. I don't know.
That's what I was wondering if you can speak at all.
But the insurgents used a lot of illegal weaponry.
The insurgents, right?
I'll go with that. Granted, war is war, and so shit happens. Shit happens. You know, we would use their weapons a lot too. Like I had this gunny that he would shoot. He would throw his rifle down, which is on a sling, so it's sling behind his back. He'd pick up an AK of the guy he just fucking shot, and he'd shoot the fucking other guys that were running and shit. And then he'd throw that AK down, pick up his. That dude was fucking great. He scared the shit out of me when he talked to me. He one time called over to me. He was like, "That's Corporal Nix," and I was like, "Oh fuck." One of there was like, "Yes, Gunny." He goes, "Did you call your mother lately?" I was like, "No." He goes, "Why not?" I was like, "I fucking don't know." Like, we're in Fallujah.
That of a guy.
Yeah, great guy. Love the guy. But
why aren't you calling your mom, Chance?
Yeah, I was busy. Yeah, God damn it, I was busy. Fuck. Yeah, you know what? Talking about my mom, I called her one time, and we're sitting there talking, and I could hear a rocket coming in, and I was like, "Oh, we're about to get bumped," and the fucking phone's cut off because it hit the generator. Our phones were like, yeah. And then I forgot to call for 2 months.
You asshole!
I know, right?
Holy shit! How did you forget to call your mom after she thinks you just got
busy?
Dude! Shit.
When I got blown up, you know what's funny though? When we got blown up, talking about telephone games, the fucking Red Cross is great and shit, but they fucked up so much that at one point my arm was completely removed and I was in Germany, fucking dying or some shit. And I told my unit back home, I said,
I'm sorry, Germany? Wait, what?
Yeah, so when you get really badly injured, they ship you off to Germany, you know, so that to the hospital and shit.
Oh, okay.
So if you're going to Germany, like, yeah, you're in some deep shit. And I told my unit back home, unless I'm fucking dying, don't call my parents. Like, they don't need this shit, right?
Yeah.
And no, they fucked up and just started calling right away. Oh, he got blown up. We'll give you further details. And then eventually, at first, it was like, yeah, I was missing an arm, which I took shrapnel on my arm, but it's still here. And I was in Germany fucking dying and shit. So my parents were flipped the fuck out.
Damn.
And then, like, they called hours later. No, but he's badly injured. No. Like, oh, actually, he's still on the road, you know? And I ended up finding 2 more IEDs later that night. But my buddy Z, they told his parents that he was fucking dead. Like, originally. They were like, yeah, he died. And they were like, what the fuck? And it was like 12 hours later, they were finally like, no, he's not dead. Like, he's still in the hospital. Yeah, he's in the hospital, though. Yeah. Talking about fucking some shit up.
Yeah, man.
But when I called my mom after that because I was like, they're probably going to call her and tell her I got fucking hurt. So I might as well call. I was like, hey, she's like, so how's it going? I was like, fine. I was like, the fucking unit called you. And she was like, yeah. Actually, the first time I ever cursed to my mom was on the phone in Iraq. And I felt terrible about it. My mother's a Southern lady. She's a church person. And I remember on the phone, she's like, how is it over there? I was like, oh, it's pretty fucked up. I was like, she's going to reach through the phone and slap me, man.
So wait, so after the 2 months passes and you finally get a hold of her and let her know, yeah, I didn't get blown up and I'm not dead. Was that her reaction? Because she had already been talked to, or is this a different?
Yeah, she figured that I was all right. Like, she was all, yeah, but she was like, you could have fucking called. Oh, she didn't say fucking, but she was like, you could have called.
There's no flag being presented to her at the door, so
yeah, no, I think she was probably waiting for that for a minute, you know. But yeah, it was bad, but you know, shit like that happens.
Yeah. All of that, and you're over here getting mad because they wouldn't answer the phone. Yeah, in the other fucking podcast episode, I'm over here talking about, I think it was the Christmas episode.
Oh yeah, because you were calling them.
Yeah, I kept calling, they would never answer. I'm like, motherfuckers, and he's over here like, yeah, I didn't call my mom for 2 months after we got.
Shit happens. I was busy. I had a job to do. Fuck. Yeah, I got friends and shit. Yeah.
Chance, this has been fucking great, dude.
It's been awesome.
I hope you enjoyed your time with us. I'm out of questions. My last. I mean, I've got plenty of questions I can ask you about the book, but really, at this point,
do it another time if you want.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. We could. I'd love to have you back on, especially once you get your next book up and running and ready.
Oh yeah, definitely. Actually, if you go to my website, you can see the cover. My wife, like I said, my wife does the covers. Right now, we're kind of in this Art Deco thing. The second book, it's called A Man at the End of the World. It's about fishing. It's like an expatriate. It's my Hemingway meets the Great Gatsby. So there's drinking, there's debauchery, there's marlins, there's sharks, there's gangsters, there's a pissed off expatriate vet who just wants to be left the fuck alone. And it all takes place on a tropical island. There's a boat, and it's a lot of fun. It's not a war novel. I mean, there is a little bit of a war stuff in there. There's UFC fights, and actually, I think the second chapter has a UFC fighting. I'm a big UFC fan, and so I wanted to throw that in there. And then, actually, if you don't mind, real quick, I'd like to say that we're doing a contest giveaway on. Actually, it's starting pretty soon.
No kidding.
All it is, you can get a copy of Kill Kill. You get a copy of Kill Kill autographed. And then 3 grand prize winners. One will get either some whiskey stones to throw in their whiskey, little skulls like on the cover. One will get Black Rifle Coffee, veteran known. You know, gotta throw that out there. And another one will get a book by David Goggins. I don't know if you've ever. Do you know this guy?
Yeah, of course I know David Goggins.
Fucking great. And
you up about his audiobook. His audiobook, he does like this little podcast radio show while he's reading the book on Audible.
That's cool.
So you get a lot more information on like certain stories that he goes through in the book. He expands on them a little bit.
Wow. So to enter though, all you have to do is we'll have this Google form put up when we put it up on all of our social medias and stuff, and it's pretty much just like enter your email, watch the trailer, and then let us know what your favorite form of reading is, because we're also doing the audio book to Kill Kill. I'm reading it, so yeah, like I want to do that. And then actually, really real quick, I think a couple people y'all should interview that is awesome for your podcast, and I'll email you the names and shit later if you want. One is Edie Ecker. She wrote Orion 1, and 100% profits on her book go to help veterans. She's living in Tennessee now. They live on a huge farm that they're actually making it a veterans retreat to help veterans with PTSD and all that. And if you buy her book, 100% profits go towards that. You know, she's a really cool chick. Check her out on like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that. She's cool, man. She does like welding and shit. Like she's hardcore. And the other one is The Last Marine, T.S. Ransdale. Sorry. He writes a pretty good book, and it's a dystopian. If you like dystopian, kick-ass books, that's a good one.
Okay,
so if those two up, I'll send you links and stuff, and you can try to get a hold of them. More authors for your podcast. But
that'd be great, man. We'd appreciate it. I mean, just more. If you got any Marines that want to come on and tell their story and just shoot the shit with some assholes, send them our way, man.
Yeah, man. I'll throw it out there, man. Like I said, I've had a great time. I would love to come back if you want me. I have more stories, like I said, especially with this one coming out, and I just outlined the second Kill Kill book, which is going to be titled "Die Motherfucker Die." Which is it's a way that when you're firing a fully automatic weapon, you want to shoot 6 to 8 round bursts so you don't overheat the barrel. You don't just hold it down like in Rambo and you're like da 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 da. No, you want 6 to 8 round bursts, right? So when I was in the Marine Corps, we'd go die motherfucker die. And let off the trigger, and that's 6 to 8 rounds burst. Die, motherfucker, die. Okay. It's just like kill, kill. Obviously, in boot camp, you say kill, kill, with throw a punch, kill, kill. You stab with bayonet, kill, 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 kill. I think in the Air Force and the Army, they say like run, fluffy bunny, run, or something. I don't know.
Little mantras. Yeah, that's it's a little different than kill, kill.
Yeah.
Let the people know all your handles, where they can find you, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that jazz. Let them know where
Chance Nix the Writer on Facebook, and there's the Grunt Inc., Grunt Inc., www.gruntinc.com. You can really find me, and you can find all my stuff there. Facebook, I have a few short stories on there that I just threw out there for fun,
Awesome. I look forward to seeing those.
Yeah, and that's it, man. I hope y'all enjoy the books. If you got the book, You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Kindle. You can get it on Barnes & Noble. You can get it on our webpage. If you buy it from our webpage, I'll autograph it and send it to you. I need to send y'all a copy autograph, tell you the truth, just for having me on. But
either way, when's the audio version going to come out?
I'm working on it right now, so hopefully in about a month, I'm going to try to get it done. But
as soon as you can, because I
was up at 4:30 this morning working on it, so I get up early every morning to work on it.
Yeah, I feel you there. I'm looking forward to hearing you read it because I read these voices in my own head, this the tempo of their speech and stuff in my own way, but I'm interested to see how the author yourself, because a lot of audiobooks are read by someone other than they hire a voice actor to do it for them.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're doing it yourself is fucking wicked, dude. I love that personally.
Yeah. I hope you like the book. There's a lot of little things in that book. You might start noticing, Jack Campbell. His initials are JC, and he has about 12 people following him the whole time and shit like that. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, there's little bitty things all into that book. I know you said and there's a lot of stuff that deals with religion, and we can talk about that another time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Trust me, there's several questions that we would have gone an extra hour on if I had gotten to them. So that's why I cut it off where I did. But yeah, man, we're gonna have to call it here. Frank, was there anything else you want to bring up? I feel like I cut you off.
No, yeah. So then, safe bet or not safe bet, but most likely your audiobook will be out by March, right?
Yeah, hopefully. That's the plan. Yeah, I would like it by February, but I'm doing all the reading, and I'm a slow reader, and then I'm doing all the editing and all that stuff, and then while dealing with the kids and the wife and family life, and especially the holidays killed me and shit. And so, I pretty much wake up every morning and try to read it. But
we look forward to that, man. As soon as it's available, let us know. We'll repost that and let people know that the audio version is available. And this has been fucking awesome.
This is fun, guys.
My favorite so far. Kim, we love you too. Shit.
Yeah, that was a great episode, by the way. I was posting it for people. I was like, "You gotta check this out." That was a good episode. I like hearing that.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks, man.
We had a little bit of audio issues. We had never used Skype before to record, so it was a little.
This is my second time, and I've never done it video. I've never done video.
Oh, okay, cool. So hopefully this works out for everyone here. Feel free if we'll see. We can send you the recording too if you want to post it wherever you want to post it. They'll do a little swap cast kind of thing.
Cool.
This has been the motherfucking Completely Inappropriate Podcast.
Fuck yeah.
You can find us at CI Podcast on Instagram, at Completely Inapp with 1P on Twitter, Completely Inappropriate Podcast at gmail.com for any comments, questions, concerns, or recommendations for us to books to read, people to interview. Send them our way. And Frank, where else? YouTube?
Oh yeah, you can find us on YouTube under Completely Inappropriate Podcast. You can like us on Facebook under Completely Inappropriate Podcast. And
if you like it.
Yeah, if you do. If
like them, damn it. Just like them. Just like the boys.
This guy, man. Leave a fucking 5-star review. The other stars don't work. We've tried them. They don't work. Trust us. You don't need to waste your time.
Just like the boys, okay? They're good kids. Just like them. Just like them. All.
Hey, how old are you, man?
Me, I'm 35.
You're only 5 years older than me. You're like 10 years older than Frank.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but see, 26. In the Marine Corps, it's 4 more years for every year you're in, and then it's 10 years for every year you're in combat. So I'm pushing 84. So, I got a thing or two.
You look it. Yeah, you look like shit. To get your life together, bro. Shit. Nah, you're fantastic,
I was watching Saturday Night Live when Adam Sandler was a new guy, okay? Chris Farley was on there, so...
Oh, and have a great fucking day. Frank, what do we tell the people, man?
Be excellent to each other.
And find your happy chance. You got any words of wisdom before we sign off?
Yeah, when opportunity knocks, don't just answer the door. Kick that motherfucker in, smile, and introduce yourself.
Beautiful. Take it easy, everybody. We fucking love you. Bye. All right. Stop this recording here.
I'm drink. Oh.